Hey everyone! I'm literally here on time. You guys are moaning for no reason. Just a bunch of complaining Camerons. Literally here. A bit tired, but I'm here. And ready to look at some games, I think. I think. Go to sleep? No. I'm shifting my sleep schedule slightly this week. So I'm waking up super early, so I can watch some scrims. But obviously, as you might have gathered, a lot of the scrims are currently happening in Korea because that's where everyone's fucked off to. Everyone's fucked off to Korea. So waking up kind of early, watching some scrims, then doing the stream, and then maybe gonna make a YouTube video at some point in the middle of all that, I guess. But it's alright. It's alright. And his first day is probably going to be the hardest because it's like the first day waking up. It's hard. I always find it hard to go to sleep earlier than I normally would. But now I've woken up earlier, I hopefully should feel tired, and that will sort of put everything in some sort of chain reaction to improve sleep schedule. That's what I'm hoping, at least. Otherwise, it's just going to be a long fucking week. Otherwise, but it can happen. I'll be all right. I'm not sure exactly what I want to watch today. I kind of want to watch more of a major because it felt like yesterday, especially. I mean, partly because maybe we were watching like the upper bracket final and the grand final and all of this. But it felt like we were able to learn a little bit more, just because. I guess because the level was so high, maybe we just looked at it a little bit closer than I have done with other ones anyway. So I kind of want to watch more of that because I don't want to travel too far back in time. NCSSG from Dallas, we could do that, yeah. I mean, maybe the Face-It games aren't so bad. I think, especially since watching some of the scrims this morning, I don't want to go too far back in the meta, you know? Like, well, I think a lot of the Asia LAN games, for example, were quite interesting, or a lot of the OWCS ones were interesting. It was just fucking Orisa meta, right? So what am I going to go do? Watch fucking 2 hours of Orisa? Grow up. That's not fucking happening. Rewatch the South American finals full locked in. Fuck. Probably not. Hold on, let me show you what I'm looking at, and then we can decide together. I guess some of it sort of also depends on the comps that were played, really. Like, this was just a RAM mirror. Do I really want to watch a RAM mirror? I'm not convinced. Is this Toronto Ents one? We watched it already, though, right? Because we watched it from the Toronto point of view, right? If I'm not mistaken. On Friday. So do I get a face it instead? Where am I? Master? Oh wait, is this season 2? I want season 1. What's good at the moment? A bit of everything. Do we know is Ghost off for roster only for Esports World Cup or just fully out? Don't know, actually. Don't know. Have you seen Ram on scrims? Yeah, I don't want to talk too much. Yeah, good morning, Venom. Okay, yes, good afternoon for me. Good morning for you. Yeah, I mean, I guess the easiest way to talk about it is that I actually saw fucking everything. In the few scrims I've watched, it just feels like everything is on the cards, especially with the bans and that, which maybe isn't too much of a surprise. But it feels like everything's pretty viable right now. So, yeah. I don't think that really help. That's not really insight. I mean, it's kind of insight, but it doesn't actually help us narrow it down at all. So do what you will with that information. Not today, Kraken. No, it starts. Is it Wednesday next week? Wednesday next week. So we are 8 days away. 8 days away. Does it end on Sunday? It's 4 days. So I think it ends on Saturday, no? Let's see. How do days work? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Pretty sure it ends on Saturday. Maybe I told a lie. I know it says on the 28th. It says on the 28th, so it'll end on Sunday then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 5 days. No, not to my knowledge. I don't think they have released a schedule. No. Like it says on Wikipedia, there'll be 2 days for groups, and then like 3 days of the actual tournament. But I don't know how accurate this is, because also some of this information on Wikipedia is also wrong. So I don't know how how much to take it. Is Willie Mamone a permanent move or a loan move? Anyone knows? I actually don't know either. Normally Will turn up at some point and we'll question him and he'll avoid the question. But we'll be able to tell what the real answer is by how he avoids the question, you know? So we'll have to do some deduction skills, but we can trick him out of it. Early next week, I think, like maybe Monday or Tuesday. I think that's the plan for most teams. They're gonna do that week in Korea and then fly sometime either over the end of the weekend or early Monday, Tuesday, out to Riyadh. I guess it's probably even the teams who aren't in Korea, I imagine they're probably flying a similar day. I think everyone's getting there around about the same time. So I don't think there'll be a huge advantage really in terms of time at the event or time on the time zone. I guess the people with the least to adapt are probably actually Ents, as they didn't get to leave the time zone in the first place. So yeah. When will I be there? I'm there a little bit later than everyone else, I think. I'm there on the 23rd. So I arrive the day before the tournament starts, but I also arrive quite late. On as in late in the day. So my first full day there will be the first full day of the tournament. So I'm gonna go right into it. But it won't be so bad because I mean it's only 2 hours ahead, right, time zone wise, which I don't think will be really that bad. From what I understand, the word on the street is they're maybe going to run a later schedule than maybe they normally would, just to try and make the viewership a little bit easier for those in the West. Mainly America, I guess, is like probably a big audience they're interested in. So where do you want to start with? Do you want to start with like one of these, maybe? And these are the ones that are kind of like maybe that one. Question mark. Maybe these ones though, and these first ones. Need 24/7 streams? I don't think it'll be going on that long. I think maybe the first day. TM versus VP? I don't know. I feel like everything we see in this is also what we'll see in the back half of this series as well. I know it was technically afterwards, but it didn't feel like they made huge progress. Maybe we'll start with this one, right? It seems chronologically first. Oh, there's no VOD link? Fuck. Alright, let's find it. I just type in Face It Playoffs. That's me. Maybe this is the channel I want.
Now has
This can't be right, you know, 7 years ago. 4 weeks ago. Is it just for full VODs? Oh, fuck me. Don't make it convenient, do they?
Like you were mentioning, Rose, what you have to be.
What day is this? Fuck me. Would it have been day 2? Is this day... This is day 2. I feel like it should have been here, no? And then it's just America. I think it should have been day 2. Yeah. Is there not another day of this? I mean, it's the one we want, actually, to be fair. Versus Pro versus Ents.
Gonna be able to get this first.
It was on week 2. Yeah, but my problem is... fucking end. There's only these 3 days to choose from, you know? Whereas it doesn't really feel like the end of the tournament.
Scan heroes.
No, they must have been streamed, because it's this one and this one I'm looking for, right? And these are like primo games. So I think you're right, it was on the second week. But I mean, we can start with this one and we can solve that problem in the future, right? Let's yeah. But this VOD ends like this is the last game, right? Wait. Yeah, this is the last game of the day on this day 3 one. So obviously this is the full bracket, but the last game they have is this one. Thank you, Starbury. I appreciate the prime. So I don't know where the other games are. But we'll solve that problem afterwards, right? Let's watch this one first. This VOD will be long enough as well. Now, what we'll do is we'll forget. We'll forget now we haven't solved this problem, and then we'll just get annoyed. Annoyed in the future. Let me... if I do this, you can see the whole thing as well. Nice. Hi, Renato. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. So, this is maybe a little bit scuffed. I think the focus here is probably more on Virtus Pro, just because, from what I understand, Chase will not be making an appearance. Hey, I'm Commander X. Hey, me too. Previous assistant coach for London Spitfire, and TK knows things are true. Back in the day, I played Code Castle. That's also true, Shilmy. How do you know so much about me? You got it? Nice. My day's been alright so far. I got to sit in some scrims earlier, which was fun. It's been a hot second since I've done that. You know, as like actually with the team, not just casting it or something. No leaking. No leaking, or I won't get to watch anymore. Come on. So I did that, and then there was like a 2-hour break in the block, so I like worked out and had lunch. Thank you, Starbury. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I don't think there is a meta to leak. Maybe if that counts as a leak. But yeah, thank you very much, Starberry. I'm glad you're enjoying the VODs. And catching it live for the first time. Yeah, it's appreciated. Helps me keep doing this. What was I going to say? Oh, meta. Yeah, meta. Everything's viable, right? This is kind of what you expected with hero bans as well. But I think everything is on the cards now, at least. Give us one hero that they played in scrims. Oh, would you believe me if I told you they played Lucio? It was fun watching my streams for a while. Oh, no. What happened? But I'm boycotting all British things. Just got stuck at Heathrow for 32 hours when British Airways lost your luggage. Fuck. I'm flying from Heathrow when I go to Riyadh. So if they lose my luggage, I'm going to be fucking livid. Touch wood. Nothing like that has ever happened to me. Did I cry and get drunk after England lost? No. I don't know if other coaches or anything feel the same way. But it's hard when you work for a team or something like the London Spitfire or whatever team, and you work for that team and you spend maybe a whole week trying to prepare and do something, and then you lose. That happening multiple times is probably more painful than any loss. It really puts a level of perspective on like an England or a national team or a team you support losing, you know? Just not quite as painful. So I was sad, I was disappointed. But I don't think it was an unfair result. So I'm not too sad. Not too mad. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, the things I guess we want to understand from here is... Ents we can only look at so much because 2 of these players are going to be different, right? But Virtus Pronus is useful to look at because it's going to be all of these people, and they're going to be having the same sort of fundamental problem. And as much as they run into this problem against Ents, which if they were to rematch against Ents, they probably won't run into this problem because they won't have Chase, which is the dive problem, right? And they really struggled against that. But I think we should see a little bit of all of it, right? Because I know lots of people talk about like, against Virtus Pro, you can ban Gala off Alari or something and stuff like this. But obviously, the bans work both ways, right? So Virtus Pro can, in theory, also ban some of the stuff. If they ban Winston or they ban Anna, there's lots of ways for them to try and get past some of this dive, some of the dive problems they were having, right? Maybe even ban Tracer or something. Or whichever hero they feel like is causing them the most problems. So I think it's an important thing to remember that it can maybe help teams a little bit with low flexibility as well in the right thing. No, so whenever you ban a hero for a map, it's banned for both teams for that map, but it's when a new map starts, the bans are reset, everything's unlocked again. So it's only ever 2 heroes banned per map. First time you met Hunter in Anaheim, he was in a hotel lobby downing a full glass of whiskey after clans were eliminated. Seems to track. Alright, so they roll out main here, Virtus Pro. Start touching the point with Rajaro and Sauna. The Malga engage comes in. But they swing away from it.
So satisfying watching Ash gets headshots. A little bit more so than Cassie, I would say, just because of that.
Again, rotation's pretty quick, right? They've now started here, baited him down, flipped back up there. Pretty easy from Virtus Pro. You'd have to say it felt like Enters Engage was pretty telegraphed. They saw it coming, they were able to rotate early, and there was no one to really stop them doing this rotate either. So, pretty easy one for Virtus Pro. And now they have the high ground. Kev's just going to go try and find his way, try and make a play from behind. They do fall for the lamp. Don't know if they needed a lamp there. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, Canal just a bit spooked. Where's Hunter? Don't know. Not his keeper, am I? Yes, he's just... I'd tell you, he's probably not scrimming. He's probably asleep by now, no? Is it true Proper is playing tank for Falcons? Yep. Yeah, that's true. I literally just heard that rumor myself. I'm sure he has a sleepy, healthy schedule. Wait, should I check right now? Is he online? Let's do an online-offline check. I think he's offline. Yeah, there you go. He's offline. He's safe. Sleep schedule? Correct. Can't be catching him slipping. Whoa, thank you.
Sparker awake check.
Sparker is awake. But Sparker should be awake, actually. Sparker's on Korean time now. So he should be awake for a couple more hours. Then he should go to bed. Hopefully he can manage that. Thank you, Voash. Appreciate it.
Fine, I won't stay away from the Brits for long.
Thank you, BZ. Also, not to go down this rabbit hole again, but... Are we getting double sound? It sounded double to me. Did it sound double to you lot? Double sound yet again. There's actually no way to fix it. It has to be the only conclusion. Alright, well, let me send a test alert now. I'm confident about this one, actually. Let me send a train. That sounded like one, right? A single train? I think that sounded like a single train. What scrim did I watch? SSG kindly invited me. I won't leak who they played, though. Only one train in the station? Yes. All right. The real test will be... Let me test the subscription as well.
Born too late to explore
Sounds
the
good to me.
Born too early to explore space. Born just in time to spam memes.
Am I attending the Esports World Cup in Riyadh? Yes, I'll be co-streaming from the venue itself. It should be pretty fun, actually. Means I should be able to. I know we normally do all right for guests, I think, on the co-stream, but I think surely if I'm at the event, I can go even harder with guests. I can try and grab all of them, you know. So that's my hope. No leak scandal. That's for rules. I mean, I think to be fair, everyone was pretty sleepy today because jet lag and everything. But I'm sure they'll adapt in no time, as is the nature. The shock collars will not be required. So this actually feels really bad, right? If I invert as pro, if I have secured the high ground with my LBC combo, and we've sort of just been solo forced off by Kevster. Can you tell us how they did, though? No leaks. You'd have to ask them. I'm gonna keep my lips sealed. You know what they say, loose lips sink ships. And I will not be responsible for any sinking ships. Coach gone into deflect. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Kevster is... I mean, Kevster's it's reasonable... They seem to not have each other's schedules, so they can book scrims. Only for the teams they're booking with. Like, you basically just ask if someone has some blocks available, and they'll say yeah. Blowjob lips reveal clips. That's... Nope, there is not a third line to that saying. Nice try. Nice try, though. Nice try. Alright, so yeah, if I'm Virtus Pro, I think it's reasonable that Kevster goes underneath and goes for a bit of, like, he gets to go for a play. But I think it should feel really unreasonable for Kevster to get too much value in this 1v3, honestly.
And this is towards the Sigma, and you buy a Ents now, switching Chase over to the Winston, hold on to go in and get that clean up.
Alright, so now they swap to dive.
Switching Chase over to...
And this is where, well, this is, to be fair, this is where the problems ultimately turned out for Virtus Pro, but this isn't where the problems were, at least in his first map. So they disengage for first bubble. Seems reasonable. And they repush aggressively onto Chase. Because this is generally what you want if you're the Sigma team. If they try and bubble you off, it's not the greatest bubble from Chase to be fair, but what you want is like, can the entire team just sort of get out of bubble or kite the same way? And the answer's kind of yes. So after this happens, I think actually you would just like this to be, can this just be half a second quicker in terms of them getting on this? They do get on pretty quick to be fair. But could just be a little bit quicker. I mean, it's a real shame they don't get the kill. They should be happy to keep peeking and poking here. Rajaro's keeping them low. Oh! Fuck. Oh wow, he's got Massa. Not by intention. Oh, not full screen. Let's see. So yeah, they push forward here, but presumably, who's behind right now then? Because Massa and Chase definitely in front, Sky in front. Is it just Kev behind? Just Kev and Kai? TM Scrim, Korea on ping. Oh, well, that's what they were doing previously, but they've just fucking gone out there. They've just fucking gone. They went out there. Saw everyone else was going and booked themselves last minute out there. So, the team are having a bit of an impromptu boot camp as well in Korea. So, again, it just feels like a little bit too easy. Because Rajaro's got everything under control here. So ends are even more gigafucked? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this will be before the tank changes, right? This is quite a while ago in reality, because this is week 1 of the playoffs. Because yeah, like, Rajaro has both supports and the tank in front of him. It's only the DPS in play. So it should feel like, surely in a 4v2, Ents are able to find the value. Then they Kitsune rush out. They're going to beat 2. Oh. They just get killed through and they're able to join up with Kev and all of this. The Winston, but Chase staying alive in his own bubble. Virtus Pro is still control over that point. I mean, Ents' backline there carrying that fight. Anything more than perfect would have resulted. Yeah, feels like Virtus Pro had control of the situation. Is KSA playing stage 3? I don't know. You have to ask him. I think he's streaming right now. Ask him. You'll scrim Ents? Taking one for the team, are ya? Alright, so this Bob is... Like, I just don't do anything with it is the main problem. Where's... Kanail's not quite back. Where's Rajaro? Anything more than perfect would have resulted, you'd imagine, in Virtus Pro just kind of wiping the floor with Ents after that ult from the Sigma. Ends up being a real... I guess they... Is Rajaro dead? Yeah, because he just swaps hero, right? Is it worth going for? I know, Bob's such a good retake ult on this point. And this ends up just being really shit, right? Because it's just an easy burn for him. There's no chance for him to really push or do anything with this Bob. They're going to window as well, but Chase catches Gala. And these are only 2 ults. So they essentially make this a 5 ult fight. Great. Virtus Pro don't have an opportunity to go in yet with this Ramatra that Rajaro just switched over to as they wait for that Lucio to come back. Alright, now we don't have anything, so their option has to be kind of just disengage, save their cooldowns here. Rajaro just switched over to as they wait for that Lucio to come back. Virtus Pro are gonna get set up and could have done with saving slow and stuff as well. KSA said he's gonna return. Nice. Wonder what team he'll join. Yeah, doesn't need to do much more than that. Does Kevster after killing Canal and the lamp. Alrighty, going extremely quick
Yeah, Racharo switching over to
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
Ram is quite interesting.
That's a shame because that team was really good for quite a long period of time, but
Not as good as Sigma and like stunning
not always
and like holding down a section with a shield, you know?
always so easy to be on a team together.
And still, like, Rajaro.
Why is he a risk?
Quick. Yeah, protection for shock.
I think he's pretty solid. Don't think he's that risky at all. Nah, I don't think he's a risk.
Well. I mean, the Ram is quite extremely quick.
I don't think other teams will see it that way.
They want an opportunity to go in yet with this Ramatra. That Regala down. Virtus Pro don't have an opportunity to go in yet with this Ramatra.
So he leaves him and he comes back. Yeah, but that was always his plan. Yeah. Nobody, no. Just watching some old games back. Essentially, you should pick him up to do the Goomba technique, deny him from other teams. How beneficial do you think the Korean boot camps are? Massively. Massively beneficial. I think Ensign, what are they called now? Nightmare? I guess M8, even though they probably care a little bit less about it, are going to find themselves in a very, very difficult situation. I think plus also what's really helpful is understanding how the other teams are going to play and going to ban. And just getting a read for what they want to try and do, right? Because it's a brand new system, so everyone's going to have their own take on it. A lot of it is a little bit mind gamey and trying to read your opponent. So getting that scrim against a wider range of teams is really useful, you know? So you take a situation where, let's say Twisted Minds are going to go out there, right? And then Twisted Minds are probably, if I had to guess, aren't going to scrim Falcons because they're in the same group, right? But you might not get to scrim Falcons, but what Twisted Minds will get to do is scrim a bunch of the other Korean teams that might have similar hero pools. Obviously, they've been playing against Team Falcons, so they might be able to infer a little bit more knowledge of how the Korean teams are currently approaching the ban system and what comps they're playing, even if they don't get direct experience against Falcons. Well, ENCE is going to get none of that. So I think it's a massively uphill battle for ENCE right now. Massively uphill. You can really make an argument it was pretty uphill anyway, based on how the Dallas Major went as well. Twisted are boot camping as well, so ENCE, I think, from what I hear, ENCE are just scrimming. I imagine they're probably scrimming a lot of Nightmare. Maybe M80 if M80 are doing any blocks. I hear they're doing a couple. And probably just any other team that's playing, right? I think TSM might be playing. I think XO might be playing. So I imagine they'll be scrimming those teams a lot. So it's mostly about meta gameplay read. Yeah, I think because if you look at the Dallas Major, it did feel like Korea were able to get that upgrade. Because I think Korea came over playing the Malga comp when they came over to America a couple of weeks before the Dallas Major. And in those initial scrims, they lost. They lost a bunch of those ones. Like it wasn't like a 6-0 by any means, but they lost a bunch of those scrims, Malga into Sigma. But by scrimming into the Sigma, what they got to do is refine and improve and find the solution. So then they actually got the right meta read eventually. And I think that's really hard to do if you're not in like the strongest region, essentially, you know? The same thing used to happen in Overwatch League. The APAC teams had such a hard task coming from a weaker region, trying to overperform, essentially. So yeah. I think it's really hard for ENCE. I think it doesn't feel like there's a consistent meta at the moment. But I imagine by the end of the week, it might feel a little bit different, right? By the time we get to like, by the time teams are actually getting on the plane and going to Riyadh, I think it might feel a little bit more secure. I think we'll still see a lot of variety, but there at least might be a bit more of a basis. Well, I think Mira and Wamone's roles in Enstar. I imagine Wamone is just if they want to do double flex DPS. So Tracer, Echo are obvious comps. Maybe double flex DPS with some version of like a Malga or something, you know. I think Venture's still in a pretty good place. Obviously, we've seen stuff like Pharah, Genji, and all that. Pretty like kind of coming in quite a lot. And for Mira, I don't know. I maybe he'll play Winston if they really fucking need it, but I'd expect we don't see Mira play. But I guess he's technically there if they need a Winston or something. I guess he's Doom and Zarya, all right, but I don't really see a situation in which that'll help him that much. The Welsh Dragonblade buff. Yeah, that too, of course. That too, of course. All right. We're going to Blade in. Again, you know, it's a hard fight. They're just pushing with nothing into Blade. But I think, especially in this type of comp, you have Coach, you have Boop, you have Lamp, you have Slow. Should feel hard to get this Blade off for Kev. Should feel a lot harder for Kev.
Just switched over to as they wait for that Lucio to come back. Virtus Pro are getting it set up.
Yeah, just too easy. Needs something to keep him away, really.
Alrighty, going extremely quick. Yeah, Racharo switching over to the Ram is quite interesting. Lawless protection.
Is today the day we can cope in that EMEA officially has a chance versus Korea? Yeah, I think it's like my guess would be I think like after watching, because we've watched a lot of the Korean games back, I think very much so. It feels like maybe Falcons and Crazy Raccoon are in like their own tier. But after watching Zeta and Fnatic, I feel like there was plenty of mistakes in their game, you know? Plenty of mistakes, didn't feel the highest level at all by any means, so you have to presume they're much more obtainable. But maybe Falcons and Crazy Raccoon are just, you know, just too damn good.
Not as good as Sigma and like stunning with the rock.
Where did I put Finn in the power rankings? I think second tier. I was still quite impressed by Finn. I thought, you know, he was another player who kind of got like the season 6 shock treatment, you know, where he looks really bad in that season, but he's not actually that bad. I thought he had a decent World Cup for like bit part role he had to play for Team Korea. And I think he's had a pretty solid year. Especially on BAP. I think his BAP actually looks really good. I think Finn is one of the better BAPs in Korea. And I think overall has actually played pretty well.
Run over the rest of the team, but Ents now they're starting to match that percentage of Virtus Pro. It's going to be maybe Kai with his overclock that can.
Alright, so Rajara trying to force for point. Kai's going to get tapped. We'll drop down. Looks like they want to go with this overclock. They're going to try and disengage it again, but they just burn it through. Good patience from Ents here. Just keeping point contested, trying to force Vertispray to make a move.
He manages to tag Racharo a couple of times in the back. I won't say it. Vertispray now just reeling with that. Gala took a shot initially there too. As Kev's kind of cleaning people up. It's the job of the Genji after that overclock's been popped, really.
Doesn't work out for Vertispray. Looks like we want to go early here. Gonna try and hit him early. Torn harassing in the back, but they get on top of Gala.
Pro just kind of reeling from it, and they're gonna have to touch this. quick push into spawn that Rose exactly. Gala did already. And look at Ence's pace, the sheer aggression here. Virtus Pro just kind of reeling from it, and they're going to have to touch too. 10% to go.
Oh, but they know they have the sound barrier too.
Right, Sauna's got the touch today.
Sound barrier from Master. He's still trying to chase down the Tracer. Kind of lost Sauna there. But
Yeah, another touch.
So that mega health pack.
They Bob try and force the point. We're just going to go kill everyone in the back.
But unfortunately, it's only Bob and Rajaro left.
How good do you think Rajaro is? I think he's okay. I think he's like obviously he has the most stereotypical European hero pool going in terms of can play a bit of Ram, bit of Sigma, maybe a bit of Diva if really pushed. Like a Finnish Vestala, yeah. So he's got all the same limitations as people like Vestala and who else sits in this? Like KSA even does as well, TVNT. All these players kind of have. But I think he looks pretty promising. I think his Ram has looked pretty good. His Sig has actually looked pretty good as well. So I think pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. Obviously, what's true for a lot of these players, or these like up and coming players, if you want to call them that, or like I don't know what the word is, but all these players who have been quite good, maybe in contenders for a little bit, but have never played in Overwatch League or anything, you know. So I think there's always like a big question, especially going to a big event like this. Like sometimes it's really hard when you first play against like some of the Koreans, if you've not done it a lot before, you know. You've not played versus Korean Dive before, you're probably going to have a really rough start to it, you know? So maybe particularly for players like Kaneo and Gala and Richaro, I worry about this roster when put under that level of scrutiny. But in reality, does success at this event for Virtus Pro really mean coming like top 4 or something, you know? Like top 8, I think they'd be pretty... If they got top 8 or something, I think I'd be quite happy with that. What about Ash? Yeah, I think Ash is really good right now. Ash and Cass definitely still the best hit scans. Gardner and Canal played in World Cup though. Yeah, but that's only like what do you get? Like one game at most against the Koreans? Maybe they scrimmed a couple of times, but I don't think it's straightforward. Like who did Spain even play in the knockouts? Did they even get to play like like Team China or Team Korea? And even if they played both of those teams, it's not enough, you know? You compare that to in Overwatch League, right? Where you ask how many times you get to play these teams. Oh, like 10 times a week, you know? The difference between getting to play against it 10 times a week for like 4 months versus getting to play against it, you know, in like say important matches or a couple of scrims of a World Cup. Massive difference in how much you can learn. Do you think we'll see Wamone? Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Skullculator. Yeah, I think we'll see Wamone. I think when it's a double hit scan one, I think Kai very much sort of has his stall set out as a hit scan player, and he's good at what he does. But I don't expect to see much Kai on Venture, much Kai on Tracer, much Kai on Genji or anything like this. You know, we're going to see the Kenji, we're going to see the Keko, the... I don't know what you call it. What else is there? The Kencha? No. Just going to see Kai on hit scan. So I think in these kind of double flex DPS comps, 100% we're going to see Wamone. And I think actually, given the way the meta had lent recently, like if you think of Dallas Major, I think it's actually a pretty smart signing from Crimzo, all things considered. We're watching, this is the upper bracket semi-final from the Face It playoffs. Probably what, like 2 or 3 weeks ago now? Doesn't Wamone have a pretty decent BAP? I mean, yeah, but I think it will still just be Sky playing it.
Many like long range capabilities. Like this point is very enclosed.
All right, so now a bit of Malga. This is actually the exact sort of situation where if Ents had Wamone available right now, they'd love to put Wamone in here and have Wamone play. maybe even a Tracer, but maybe even like just on an Echo or even a Pharah or something like Hiss instead here. This would be like the exact type of matchup. It would be Wamone time.
So I was always thinking, like, Ash seems very strong with the DPS passive because you could light everybody up at every.
Do you think competition in roles increases everyone's level, or the opposite when people are scared to lose their spot? Maybe, I don't know, because I really believe in this idea in traditional sports. You know, like if you were to ask me, I think it's really healthy in traditional sports for there to be competition for places. But I don't know if I don't know if it's as helpful in esports. But I don't know if I don't think that's actually indicative of something different about esports, or just like, I don't know what you'd call it, like the average maturity of the average player. I think there's a big difference still between like a lot of gaming players and a lot of traditional sports players. But maybe that should be expected, right? Given the the likely different paths to success in their particular disciplines. I think like if you're an up and coming football player and you're going through various youth teams and youth academies, your entire life is spent in competition for places, you know? It's a very natural part of it, where I don't think you have to deal with that as much in the esports world, and as such for players, I think a lot of the players struggle with it a lot more. The idea of being a bench player or a bit part player, right, as well. And I think especially one thing that's true, like, if you're benched on a football team, let's say you're not the starting left back anymore, right? You still get to train with the team every day of the week, right? You still get to actively do all the same training as everyone else and try and prove your worth in training. If you're not the starting flex support for a team, you don't get to play in any of the scrims, you know? You maybe get a token map here or there. It's like, I think it's really hard. Really hard to get the same value and same improvement in esports, because you don't get to play any of the practice. So I think ultimately, playtime, especially if you're like unless you're like a specialist player, then maybe that just becomes your role for a team. But I think for the most part, you want to be playing as much as possible, really. Think Ramon's Echo is better than Kev? Yeah, I'd cop that. I'd agree, GT. I'd expect him very much to do it that way round. Kev on Tracer / Genji. Like if I had to pick, if we had like Kev and Ramon. Oh, that's an M. I feel like Tracer and Genji, Pharah here, Tracer and Echo here. I don't know where I put something like Venture. I don't think I've really seen much of that. But I feel like these are the heroes I'd expect Kev to have priority on, and then like maybe the Echo and obviously the Tracer if any of these other ones are viable. Don't know about Venture so much. I'm not really seeing either of them play it. Where does Mirror go after the Esports World Cup? Don't know, I guess probably just hang around on Ents, right? I can't see any team that keen to sign him.
Oh, there's still Sauna though in the back, so these
Oh, Shockwave tries to take an angle, but the 100% can't take this. Yeah, he's just getting really close, and then he sort of fucks up his shift, and then it just becomes a really easy catch here. No lamp or no peel in time.
You see the coach gun usage there, and then Ents were like, oh, use coach already, and then just ran him down. Kev's already finding a double kill. Point hasn't been captured just yet.
And then after that first piece falls, all the other pieces are harder. We're actually going to C9 him here. They should come back. Sauna should live if he can, but he's had to use recoil. He's not living, surely. There we go.
Okay, well, we can't let
If Vess is still playing One Time Mirror, it will just be the Winston player if they really need him, I think. I think that's like Winston or Doom, maybe. That's like the theory. But I'd be very surprised if we see Mirror get all that many game time. Don't think Chase is playing, no. Don't think Chase is playing.
Shockwave just have free reign over the team, kind of learning from the match that we had previously. He's getting
Oh, so they're going aggressively. They nearly catch him again. They've had to use Lamp early here as well. They're going to run out. Chase has gone downstairs, though. Chase is not escaping downstairs.
Good pickup by the Tracer. And now Inst has to just get back to that point and hope they can keep Kevster alive, who does have the blade, but against the Sigma, it's so hard to even do. Good pickup by the Tracer. And now Inst has to just get back to that point and hope they can keep Kevster alive, who does have the blade, but against the Sigma, it's so hard to even dance around this point. You're not guaranteed any kills whatsoever because of that shield. Oh, Sauna, okay.
All right, Sauna. Cleaning up all of this. Nice.
Yeah, there's no health pack there for Kevster.
And Smira doesn't have aura. Yeah, I think he will. I mean, I don't think they'll play him that much, but I think if that's the only thing he really adds.
And then just send Ents back to the drawing board. But they still have that blade. They also have that rush and that sound barrier to pair with it. So
All right, they slam, but this is... It's just so downtown from Chase.
they also have that rush and that sound barrier to pair with it. So
Like, really, when you want this run-in, you want to be able to land on one of these two targets. So, one, you can either kill them, or two, at very least, you're forcing them to reposition and kind of minimizing the value they can get. This one is just from so far away. I really feel like this area is like a... You maybe do one pin here, and then you try and walk up, you take, use a bit of cover, try and find another pin. I'm going to play him on the one Sig ban of the series. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like, D.Va's been buffed, right? So I would, you know, like, is it just more like, you know, the comp they did, what was it, like, D.Va, Sojourn, Tracer, Kiri, Lucio. This was the comp Ents did on the Jib attack. Is that comp just, like, slightly better now? Maybe it's still a little bit ugly, but is it not just slightly better now? So maybe they can just get away with playing D.Va and there's just no reason to play. Do you think Sauna's the third best Tracer in EMEA? Probably not. Now, where would I put him? Don't know. There's quite a lot of decent Tracers, really. I feel like there's probably like... There's like the Kev and Psycho tier. And then... I don't know. I feel like all of Twitter's minds have been playing like really badly lately. And then there's kind of this tier of like maybe Yubi. I think Ramon's actually really good, even though the guy just can't stop fucking getting benched for fucking Yanks. And then maybe like Naga and who am I forgetting? Oh, the person you asked me to rank, Sauna. Maybe there's like this second tier as well, but I feel like Yubi and Ramon are the most likely to like push up, you know? Sparker. Yeah, Sparker's Traces actually looks really reasonable. You're right. I think there's a real argument Spark would also find himself in this sort of second tier group. Third is Psycho. I feel like honestly, Ice, I actually have no impression of Psycho. I feel like I never seen him play, really. Everyone tells me they're really good at Tracer. But just not seen it, you know? Just not seen it. Is Eva just a Warlord? Do you think she'll see pro play? I mean, definitely for some teams, right? Definitely for some teams, like in the Ent situation. I don't know if we'll see a situation where she's like hard meta for everyone, you know?
So this blade should be pretty lethal here from Kevster.
Well, there is the blade.
What's the other one? Is Sky? Yeah, I think Sky's better than Ghost. Sky's better than Ghost. Maybe on everything except BAP, but even better, I don't think the BAP's actually that far apart.
So this blade should be pretty lethal here from Kevster.
Well, there is the blade.
Fuck. It's actually an outrageous beat. Look how much value this fucking Flux gets. Because it stops these two players getting beat. It stops Kev doing anything with the blade. Fuck. Tracer Genji guy, all top tier. Oh yeah, Echo 2. All right. Is he? Did he join that? The EXO roster. Was he part of that, like, whatever you want to call him, the peace and love type core? Is he there now? Alcadsi? Oh, okay. Esports World Cup side? No. Did I not write preview in my thing? Yeah, I literally wrote preview. Come on. Need a little bit of a little bit of literacy on the go. With Ziad QLM Haku Skyle. Okay. Alright. Gucci replaced him on the on XA. Yeah, not seen too much of Gucci either really. This actually, the reason this Flux is so big is also Chase's fault, right? Because it's just the easiest Flux decision in the world for Rajaro. Gucci's the best player ever. Papa Joe, are you finished by any chance? No. Everyone needs to drop needs to start asking for passport ID before before we take people's takes on player ratings. Fuck, TVNT agrees? I'm pretty sure TVNT isn't finished though. Shit. Has Kev won for Finish E-League? He is not. He is not. But Gucci has. Shit. I mean, you're literally just dropping facts that I can't refute. Alright, so this is really nice timing from Virtus Pro.
Yeah, that flux just did not help them at all during that flux.
Because you see here again, Enter going to try a little bit of a slower walk up now. Everyone's here, but Virtus Pro find a really nice timing to go just before Chase can press the run button. Give a rock, get the early damage. They even bob aggressively as well. Really just nice turn of aggression from Virtus Pro. They catch him in like to coin a phrase, a cum zone, right? If you can catch the Malga in these zones, I think you'll be pretty happy with that. They don't actually get any kills though. A little bit surprising. Obviously, this is like the old Malga shout, right? Thoughts on Slay? I think he's a solid flex support. I think like you know, it's maybe like it's maybe a role in EMEA when there's no standout flex support players. So I think when you look at some of the better flex supports that are around in EMEA now, if discounting Landon, obviously because he's literally American, but you start to look at players like Sky or Kaneo, I think Slay is really around that level. Really, probably better than both of them on BAP. Not seen as much of him on Kiri and stuff, but I think Slay's right around the top end of like EMEA flex supports. You just watch Spark's Ram play a somewhat competitive game against Fearless Winston. Is Spark near Korean level 1 tank? I mean, you've literally just proven that he is. I guess in reality, there's going to be lots of pretty fucking stacked ranked games on the go, right? Over in Korea right now, with a real mix of talent. Oh yeah, Finn is streaming. Nice, giving us the inside. It's the inside scoop. I missed what happened in this fight. Thoughts on Zirian? I only ever really seen him play Kiri, a little bit of Anna, but I thought he looked pretty solid on both of them. Since the mid-season patch is out, what do you think will be played? Probably, I think my original guess was like Ram and Winston would be the ones who would like gain the most from this. Maybe we see less Malga, but you know what it's like with patch predictions. Just people looking at a bunch of numbers, then guessing.
Okay, what? Okay, good spot. 70%. Okay, on to Kevster too. Low to wait this one out, but first priority, good spot. 70%.
All right, so they go early again. They catch Kevin. Master's now surely. Where's Gala going? I think Guy really felt like they were going to clear Massa here, but Gala just gets fucking dinked on his way through by Kai. And Master will finish that one. Oh, it's an absolute dogfight. These are the fights you hate if you're... Well, if you're Virtus Pro in general. But if you're any team in these situations where you had complete control of the situation. And then you just lose to... You kind of lose to nothing, you know?
Another easy capture here for Ents to come back after they were able to get that.
But you only have to use Overclock in the end, and now there's a very difficult ult situation to play where Chase is going to have Cage and Sky's probably going to have Kyriol. You're only going to have Window. I think if you're Virtus Pro, you maybe just want to go with Window here. Try and disengage what you can. But also be kind of ready to lose. We're going to get Kitsune Rush here, so actually the disengage is really on. Chase is going to drop the Cage. We're going to Window it here. Gala's going to get caught. They managed to kill the Cage a little bit. They survive the Cage, though. Nicely done. Rajaro's forgot to take his shield down. Fuck's sake, Rajaro, we need the shield. Now he remembers. Gets for pick, though. Gets for cleanup.
They still got to deal with this flux somehow, and with Marcy using the beat from Virtus Pro, run down the Kiriko, and then save the world. Ents, they still got to.
Is it just all Kevster? Not to oversimplify this.
They get the kill, but this might just be all over. Sauna and Rajaro end up taking down Chase and Kev, and now it's only Master and Kai on the point.
They still trade. It's a dogfight, but they're trading. Shockwave has for Bob for the retake.
But Chase is on the Doomfist, so definitely wants to get back to point fast enough.
Really difficult one. Need to just like touch and tap for a while. Chase has to not get rocked here. Alright, doesn't end up too bad actually. There's for Bob though. This should lock it down as long as they get kills in this time. Oh, Kaneo was duped, Kevin. Fuck. Yeah, really hard in that last fight. Blade versus Bob is not a friendly ult matchup. Why do you think Ents only play Malga with Chase? I thought Vess was good on it in stage 1. I actually didn't. I wasn't a big Vess on Malga believer. I mean, we've seen Chase make a few sort of like key mistakes here as well. Just in some of these engaged choices.
There's this high ground control that both of these teams are going to want to take, and it's going to be Ents that beats them first to the punch. Try to get this high ground set up for Kai.
Yeah, it looks like Virtus Pro there, Rose, kind of almost called it.
Alright, so we're going to get a classic ring around the roses situation here again. The important thing is for Virtus Pro is just to try and keep this distance as much as possible. Try and bleed them out. If you can force anything, you can force a Suzu or just even chunk Chase's HP before they can make that engage. Super important. So you're going to see the backline here. You see him rotate to main. You can see Chase going to try and find that timing. They're going to go. Kaneo with a pretty good kite though, gets himself up here. Shockwave's managed to lurk his way onto the middle ground as well. So again, looks very, very nicely set up here from Virtus Pro to avoid this damage. Oh! Hits the rail though. Massa can't quite finish it though. Massa maybe even gets punished for this. They actually lose Rajaro. It's just a dogfight in all corners. Virtus Pro have first flip though and can stabilize around it.
You talk about the split fights, and it just limits so much of the healing output that Massa can have, especially after Sky went down so early.
Right, now the Winston swap.
2v1s are just going to be one out by Virtus Pro. Having a bit more staying power with something like that Baptiste.
Gala finds a bit of a boop. They try and go back. Shockwave will boop himself out. Have to lamp. Chase will be cleared. Sort of managed to get betrayed. And this is one of the questions, right? Of like, this is something it felt like happened a lot in the final, especially to Ents, where they like Master and Sky would just get caught. Obviously, it's gonna be Rack at the Esports World Cup, so maybe it's different.
Just still deciding against the Mauga now.
Yeah. From range.
They deal with this pretty tidily.
Deciding against the Mauga now.
Yeah.
Onto the Winston. Sauna is still just tearing up ends currently. Like a piece of paper in a shredder. Garland.
All right, in control again.
Buying time.
Through all of that damage, unless he just gets hit by a couple headshots.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's just like buying time. That's the
Kai's just found the pick.
Bob came out.
They bobbed in spawn as well.
After they receive a rail gun to the face.
What a disaster.
But he's stuck in spawn.
What a disaster.
The Bob
Sauna's going to kill Massivo.
he can't
So a counter disaster.
All the meanwhile, it's just checking the backline permanently. Master's already dead. Sauna's got a pulse bomb. Survives the engagement from Ents.
All right, now they're back on point, and pick on Master will buy him valuable time.
80% they got ults to spare.
Kitsune rush, but the disengage is good again.
Doe to stop Ents using that rush to jump on the backline, and Rajaro can put himself on the point for still some additional time. Even Garlet still
Forces for Suzu out. Looking for a flux. Anything doing? Oh, just about gets Massa.
Without a hope and a prayer, there's the primal rage eventually being utilized by
Oh, they're all low, actually.
to the point to help the rest of his team. But is it too little?
It's just deathmatch.
Rajaro is still holding down the fort, and Sauna is just going.
Here we go, Rajaro. Hits Rajaro and Sauna just combining for everything.
Oh my goodness.
Not too bad from Rajaro.
Outperformance here
He
from
hits the
Virtus
C9
Pro.
in
They
the
call
chat.
it a C9.
I mean,
It's
come
not
on,
even
bro.
close.
Virtus
Yeah.
Pro dominating Ents there on that. Sub to Virtus Pro.
Yeah, lots of nice things. Oh! What's happened to my voice? So lots of nice things there, actually, I think, from Virtus Pro. I think a lot of our kites actually look... One, we're kiting really early in a lot of situations. Well, maybe kiting's not the right word, but we're reading the rotation that Ents want to do and rotating our own backline very quickly. So that feels very good from Virtus Pro. In general, it felt like their ult use felt, except for maybe a few rubbish bobs, felt pretty reasonable as well. In terms of like countering Ents, a lot of Ents engage. Got some really big value. Dealt with most of the blades pretty well. Maybe not the first one, but all the blades after that felt like they dealt with them pretty well. Sauna's getting a lot of value. We're seeing, actually, ironically, we're seeing quite an Ents thing, you know? How many times do we see Ents play with Vessler on Sigma or something? And we see, like, just the Sigma plus the Tracer from Ents just doing so much damage to, like, killing the Lucio, killing the Kiri on the way in, all of this, you know? So I felt like actually Rajaro and Sauna did a very good version of that here. So I'm just going to grab some more water. Maybe I want a snack. Do I want a snack? What time is it? When am I going to have dinner? Like 3 hours? No. I'll avoid having a snack. I'll refrain, mate. I'll refrain? I'll refrain from having a snack. But yeah, then we can watch this one. But yeah, pretty good start from Virtus Pro. Pretty good start. Oh, I'm back. You know what came in the post today? This. You see it? An uncoachable hoodie. You imagine? It's too warm to put it on now. It's kind of muggy today. But they're quite nice. Quite nice. They're quite light as well, which I quite like. A lot of the hoodies I have are quite heavy, which is obviously good sometimes, but not good all the time. If you want to buy the merch, if you scroll down on this page, you get yourself some of that merch. All right. Gonna see more of the same matchup here then. Bit of a Lari vote from Gala. I think Ilari's maybe one of those heroes, you know, in case we see a lot of Lucio bans. I feel like the obvious candidates, you go Brig or you go Ilari, right? Maybe it depends a little bit on the player. Obviously, someone like Gala is very much going to go Ilari. Maybe someone Chio, like Chio, maybe more likely to go Brig. But I feel like actually, Gala always gets so much done on Ilari here. Alright, so immediate setup's relatively wide, right? We can see Rajara taking this early angle, supported by Kaneo. I presume Shockwave's in this area as well. And Gala just playing the Lifeweaver 2. I mean, it's not out of a question, right? So we see Ents trying to make an aggressive move. You can see Sky and Kev clearly have one of the Spaniards in their sight. But it's quite a hard position to dispossess Gala from, and Chase doesn't really connect on anything meaningful. So they're going to back up, but they back up into Rajaro. Just an easy kill in the end. And just an easy fight there, right? They tried to ignore the Sigma side. But Gala was on a high ground, so kind of hard to get. Obviously, we're going to go Winston now, so it should be easier to clear these positions. This, in theory, should be too hard for Virtus Pro, right? Too hard for the backline to live consistently. Especially pushing underneath here on the low ground. We'll see what they choose to do. Sauna is harassing the backline. Very much marked by Massivo. Oh, a bit of an exit rock onto Chase's jump there as well.
Where does Gala play? So they're playing all the way at the back. They're just waiting for an engagement from Ents. Pretty smart. Just have Rajaro basically
drop in, forced out. Happy to keep doing this if you're Virtus Pro. Gala's. Where's Gala with this one? Finds it. Anyone triggering it? Oh, solo. Sauna's going to finish one. Trades for it, though. Don't actually find the value, and now they try and clear Gala. Shockwave is like Spark without. I think Spark's better. I'm a Spark believer. It's possible I'm biased though. The Yolari shift is actually so fucking broken. Not broken, but it does so much. And it's going to regroup on high ground. Virtus Pro going to keep nudging this cart forward. Going to drop in. Just turns to put pressure on since Winston. Boops back as well. Chase will be forced all the way out.
So many alts though for here. Like this card's still rolling, by the way. Somebody's pushing it under the
Alright. Payload now moving.
This card's still rolling.
Dive's gonna come in.
Somebody's pushing it under the bridge.
Counter dive flux comes through. Forces the beat. Does Rajaro whiff it? Thinks it's a whiff. That's a beats anyway. Sort of still moving the payload, which is causing them problems. They're going to end up beat blading in. Just a Rajaro whiff, right? A couple of good ones from Rajaro. We've had two like fight winning fluxes and two complete whiffs.
To dash onto the underground too, dodging out of the way as those shurikens, not even taking the mini health back. Okay, a little cheeky, but they push the payload so far, Rose, that Virtus Pro have a lot of free movement now, a lot of free space.
They do. Like they can just go through main.
Wherever they go, they are not going to be able to push this point. Yeah, going to die a little bit staggered here.
And it's just a great position to have to take.
They lamp. They force for primal, but Rock as well. Chase has lost all his HP. Oh my god! I thought it was looking like a
defense are not so far behind.
Seems crazy that Rajaro doesn't die here. Lamp perfectly timed. Rock after a primal so good with window. It's just such a high damage comp. Chasers gets eliminated. But Bob on the high ground helped too. Sola wants to pause. Ooh. Feels like Kai's not had really all that much impact at all so far, right? Which I think, to be fair, is maybe also part of a problem sometimes with like some of the hit scans in this comp, is that Kai has to try and find angles to flank and do a lot of things on his own. Which one obviously requires a bit of support, but otherwise he just walks into Rajaro and Rajaro just shields him, right? So I think it's like a hard hero, or a hard to play any hit scan into this type of composition. Yeah, I think it's just a really hard comp matchup for a hit scan. Gala's just going to drop it on point. Everything is fine. Downtown healing pylon.
You're tilting them at this point. This ends now.
My favorite fisherman is down. Official. Virtus Pro really wanted to make it a EWC, but Sauna, one of them.
How do you play the Virtus Pro comp? So it depends what you're playing it into, right? Obviously. But into the dive like this, I think generally you want to try and take angles still, but you want to be narrower. So compared to like if you were playing this in a mirror, and you might like, obviously Third is a pretty shit example for it, you know. Let's see if I can get like a good. I mean that fight just fair's a pretty good example of it. Like, you know where they have, so here they had like their BAP was here and like their Alari was here or something, right? You want this kind of spacing where both your supports can actually support each other, right? You can still have your BAP or your Alari like taking a bit of a side angle. You still want to be, you know, if something goes on your BAP, the Alari's right there, or if something goes on your Alari, you can just shift back to your BAP. So you keep your backline sort of medium space. And then your main goal is, if you see any of them trying to set up, right? So mainly in this comp, it's going to be Chase, it's going to be Kev. So you see either of these players trying to set up. If your name is Rajaro, your name is Sauna, you want to play very aggressively onto these players. You want to try and poke them out, stop them setting up, anything like this. And if you can shoot them while they're trying to set up, you know, while they're trying to like flank to get some staging or anything like that, or they jump like, you know, when Winston's do like one jump to set up before they do the actual jump onto your backline, right? If you can fuck them in this moment, that's what you want to do if you're the Sigma. And the same for the Tracer. Then if, for example, you're not able to do that and Ents are able to dive normally, so they're able to just, you know, they press shift, they land on your backline. The important thing is, one, if you're Sauna, you just go into basically frag mode. You just try and kill one of these people. And you try and kill one of these people. You try and kill one of these people, sorry. And then if you're Rajaro, you can play pretty similarly. Just try and rock anyone who's pushed in, like for Winston, like for Genji, anything like that. And then just try and trade, you know? But yeah, the main difference is just you play basically the same way, except these three players who might be taking very aggressive angles. If you were playing against more of a Lucio comp, or if you were playing in like some type of mirror, you just want to be softer angles and try and bait the dive. If you can shoot them before they dive, perfect. Do not let them dive. But if they do manage to set up or stage, or they just have like a high ground like they do on here on second, just try and bait their engage, then make sure after they engage, heal for each other, and then push back really hard. Watch the VODs channel. Yeah. Put most of the VODs up there. Your game has more views than your grand finals on that channel. Surely there was something else in that VOD that isn't that the same one we did like the once again the leaked scrim VOD review? You think it was all you they were interested in, though, Fix? All you? Fair enough.
suffer the excessive pylon usage there, throwing it towards the team. Dead. C9, lol. Not sure that was a C9. They wiped.
No, it's not. But it's like it's the damage. Like it's just you're tilting them.
You only watched it because of Fix?
My favorite fisherman.
Tilting them at this point.
So you see, this is a good example of what we were talking about, right? Where, I mean, obviously they've just killed Master, which helps. But you can see Chase is trying to set up in a place where he has a good engage into the backline, where he can be maybe a little bit tricky, a little bit hard to boot back or to read. And what Rajaro wants to do, just try and peek early, shoot him before he gets the jump, even just throw rocket to him, just try and ruin Chase's life. And can he ruin Chase's life? Yep, Chase tries to block it with bubble. Because the thing is, even if Chase blocks it with bubble here, well, he's had to use his bubble defensively, and now he can't use it on the back line. So Rajaro doing exactly his job in this particular situation. They're going to drop Overclock, and I mean, actually, they're just killing them all. They're just killing everyone. You hate Brits, Swedes, and Danes. Is it possible you might just hate everyone? Alright, so now they're holding in spawn. French. Alright, they're coming out. Kitsune rush back on point. Should be in ease. Virtus Pro probably still want to factor in a disengage. Turn with Flux if they go too far. Onto Kai. Fuck. Did they just not expect Blade? Just feels like one target is way more obvious than the other target, right, if you're Rajaro. Kev's low, they might deal with him regardless. Oh my god, he hits for rock. What am I saying? Of course, Rajaro. I didn't factor in that Rajaro was... Obviously, if you're going to turn around and rock the Blade in Genji mid-air, you can flux forward. You don't need to bother fluxing the Genji if you're just going to rock him from downtown. Fuck! Just as the slash is coming onto Kanale as well. Fuck. Kanale was out of cooldowns, out of lamp. Rajaro with the save. Oh, then of course they get C9'd as well. That's the one where, like, Sauna broke Massa's ankles, right? Fuck. Kev can't do that. Alright. This would be a classic Wamone situation right now. Love to have Wamone for this one.
Oh, don't take that idea. Do not take that idea. Alright, anyway, Kev's the...
Blade feels brutal in pro play, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean it's not the ult it used to be.
It's not really summons, but
tough for the tanks. We need to summon a tank. Oh, don't take that idea. Do not take that.
Right, they're just going in. So they're just trying to bypass the Sigma here. Push out. I think it's that Shockwave. Shockwave's gonna coach gun away. You see, look at Rajaro immediately realizing where all the pressure is. They're all chasing this way, so can I just trade onto the back line? Again, like Sky's gonna be the Sky Massa. Anyone who can shoot, really. Just any damage is good. Rock doesn't connect, but kills Massa anyway. They've had to lamp. Did they have to lamp here? Was Shockwave really in such trouble? Or was it Garlave lamp, actually? It's hard to tell. Kanale's taken like maybe a weird pathing to get out here. SSC yet to figure out how to install OBS? What do you mean? None of them are streaming? Are they all playing? Who's better? Prime Shax? Oh, fuck. So hard to compare. It feels like different generations, right? Different generations of Tracer. I'm probably gonna go Shax, you know? Shax's fucking insane on his day, you know? Isn't Shax Danish? Yeah. Do you need to factor in your racism into your assessment? So all right, so they still give a trade here. Again, I feel like I don't know if Lamp's just a little bit easy to force out here from Kaneo. I feel like the sign of the best Baps. It's always so fucking hard to get their cooldowns out of them, you know? They milk it for fucking ages. And they still have it. And it's a situation where you say, why? No way their Bap still has Lamp. But I feel so far with Kaneo, he's actually been quite, just handing out lamps. A very generous lamp salesman. Oh, Herzl Sauna there. There we go. They clean up, they hold. Alright.
Well, it's so tough though for Ents to even get in here.
Wait, what happened here? So ultimately, a lot of the things we talked about with Niscomp versus like a Winston dive is actually really true against the Mauga as well. I think any version of Mauga you see, especially when they start running like double dive DPS or double flex DPS, whatever you want to call it, the matchup really starts to play really similarly for Virtus.pro's type of comp as you would play against dive. So it's again, can you find that early damage? Can you stop the Mauga either setting up properly? Or can you just force any cooldowns out early? Or if they do manage to engage, can we just make sure we take a step back and then we push back? We all peel properly and then we push back. Alright, so here, they're going to come around the corner. Rock's just going to catch Chase on the rotation. So we're going to take loads of damage. Mass is going to amp as well. Chase doesn't quite get into the room either. So look at that. Just look at the health balls. It's just over before it starts, you know? Hey, Artemis. You alright? What do you think of the new FPL rules? I'm a fan personally. Well, it's so tough though for our matching up against cooldowns. Yeah, they're just dead on arrival. Oh, I've pressed I'm pressing left and right, and obviously left and right is next to 0. I actually just fat fingered it. Fuck. Why are my fingers so fat? Can anyone tell me? Have I gone past it? Fantasy Premier League. So like football. Fantasy football. Alright, so what is happening? Too much Diet Coke? Fuck. When I weighed myself last week, I normally weigh myself either like Wednesday or Thursday. I think it's going to be Thursday this week. When I weighed myself last Wednesday, I was down 1 kilogram. It's very difficult to actually keep him alive to moving in the right direction. I've got to get back to the gym. Fuck, I had to... So, I was in Scrim earlier. I don't know, maybe this is like a really niche experience that people can't relate to. But I was in Scrim earlier, and obviously Chris was hosting the lobby. And then Chris had to go do something for a second, so he put me in charge of the lobby. And I used to always run the lobbies back in London. But it's obviously the last lobby I would have run would have been like our last warm-up scrim before we lost to the Boston Uprising for the 80th time. And I've not hosted one since, you know, so there was a level of apprehension for me of like, fuck, need to make sure I'm locked in, you know? Make sure I hit the pause, make sure I change the map, make sure I ban the right fucking heroes and enable the other heroes. But I only had to do it for 2 maps and I nailed it, so... I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. Do you know any Overwatch players that play an instrument? No. No. You booked everything for Stockholm yet? I've actually done the opposite and booked nothing for Stockholm. But, you know, it is what it is.
Alright, Chase is gonna go in. Almost instantly deleted. Captive Sun's coming out. No Suzu available.
Hate Sweden. I've been to Sweden a couple of times. Have your mods booked everything, but you haven't? We need our free drinks? Well, because I might not be paying for myself. It's actually, that reminds me, I need to message. Fuck. It's not particularly an anti-Swedish person. What brought me to Sweden so many times? Yeah, it was actually TF2 every single time. Yeah, so we went to Sweden multiple times for TF2, and the running joke between me and my friends is every time we go to Sweden is that the best part of Sweden every single time is when we stop at Copenhagen on the way. So we'll see if that's true at the end of the year today at Stockholm. Maybe Copenhagen will once again be the best part of Sweden, but what can you do, eh? Nothing you can do if you're Swedish.
There's the flux. Be deadly. Almost instantly deleted. Captive Sun's coming out. No Suzu available. Oh, this
What other cities are relevant?
deadly.
Well, it's always just fucking Yon copping, right?
No Suzu available. Oh,
No, you don't drive there. You fly to Copenhagen and then you get the train to Sweden. I think that's like the nicest way to do it, or the cheapest way. Maybe both.
this is going to be deadly.
Sparkle with another tank game. Wish Sparkle would queue on his main role before the biggest tournament of the year, but you know, what can you do? Now you want to go via. You've actually done it wrong, Artemis. You need to go via Copenhagen. I wasn't paying attention in this fight at all. 30 quid? Yeah, you could probably do it for cheaper. You thought Copenhagen was a Swedish city for a sec. That's a joke. Alright, again. They just can't seem to find situations where Chase can slam on anyone other than Rajaro. Again, Rajaro's just able to keep everything in front of him all the time. If Rajaro can just keep everything in front of him, Sigma is a really powerful character. Oh, Carla's gonna hit most people. Any flux hitters? Nope. Great. They will clean it up. Hate trade. Yeah, but I want to go an airline that doesn't charge out the arse, such as Ryanair. I think every time I've gone, it's been fine. I can't remember who we flew with, though.
Sub 2 minutes, and they still haven't had a chance to unlock this first point. 33% of the pie, but it's...
Alright, they're going to beat in and blade in. Ironically, this is where they'd actually like to have a flux or something.
3% of the pie, and they still haven't had a chance to unlock this first point. 33% of the pie, but it's all at the back of this latest...
Where is... It's hard to see exactly where the peel goes here.
Now Kevster has to worry about that too. A lot of damage onto that tour, but taking a lot in return.
Damage is done though. Beat Blade combo eventually gets them through, but didn't look pretty from Ents. Kind of had to rely on the ults in the end.
Okay, so you've got the life grip at the very least to kind of like help pull Rajaro back if you feel like Rajaro's maybe overextended. Similarly with Shockwave.
Carla has gone Life Weaver and has pulled his boy out of his cage. Cheers, mate.
A perfect use to get Shockwave out of the cage. Rajaro's in trouble, but that lamp has been able to not only get around the corner, but no one from Ents was able to focus.
Need another pull.
Been able
Like,
to
Gala nearly had pull, no?
only get around the corner, but no one from Ents was able to focus it down. Rajaro eventually
Was not saving Rajaro.
time there for Shockwave.
Keep him alive. Be off for some.
They're kind of sagging themselves out a little bit here.
Weaver pick. Still with this high ground control as well. The pedal.
This pedal is actually broken, though. I mean, this is obviously why most teams, instead of coming upstairs, they go round the long way. Because it's hard to push up these stairs anyway. But especially if they have a petal here above them.
Unreachable.
And as they come up the stairs, they're not even looking at Shockwave at all. Look, they can't see him. They don't know where he's going. Oh, and the
I'm actually,
I don't think you want to
especially with Lucio banned in a lot of these situations, I'm actually really a Life Weaver believer.
because this fight is again kind of breaking down.
Don't know how much we'll see it.
Again, a lot of time
Maybe Rack and Ents will actually be the
to deal with the bomb.
the visionaries.
Rings around Ents.
I'm a little surprised that on the second point, Chase hasn't opted to try to run the Winston. It would give you immediate access to that high ground, and we see a lot of teams actually.
But especially in these like ground tank mirrors. Like in these sort of comps where Chase just wants to land on stuff, the ability just to petal and just go on like to a brand new high ground at the Malga, or if this is a Ram, or if this is a Orisa or whatever, right? And they just can't get you. It's so annoying.
Actually use the Winston as a counter to something like the Sigma. Maybe
I think it's like it's a tricky one to get right because it's like a long cast time, and obviously you need to trigger the petal as well. But I think it's a really unexplored avenue.
Match point to Virtus Pro.
Tree available. It's all coming up.
Do I consider Life Weaver a main healer?
With a minute and 30 seconds.
I mean, I just kind of say flex support or main support. It feels like it's in the main support hero pool.
They see Gala float away gracefully, and it-
Never seen a flex support player play it in a serious situation, you know?
Spot the pedal. They see Gala float away gracefully, and here comes the window. Straight to the back line goes Chase, but already
Kitsune through. Alright, Flux seems pretty good. They've beat it as well.
Probe exited stage left. They've
Defensive tree too.
hide behind this
Like you're now playing the tree. Nice.
go in there with Chase, but is unable to
Tree's a pretty decent ult, right? I feel like we see it so little in pro play.
easy pickings.
But it feels like if you get engaged on and you can just
And with only a minute to
hang out by the tree,
I think it's looking like a match point for Virtus Pro, Rose.
feels really okay, you know?
Go. Try to get
Just survive. What happens? Does Tree beat Cage? Anyone know the matchup? If you're put in the cage, but then you put your tree in the cage, that's a tree. Who wins? Anyone have a real life example of this? I feel like your trees probably wins, no? Maybe? I don't know. I feel like tree would win. Still the Malga? Fuck.
Anything with something like that Winston bubble. Buy some space here for Kevster to actually operate.
Tree blows up if a team gets hands. Does the tree not... Is it not kind of annoying to kill the tree? You can pull people out, though. Yeah, I guess you got to rely on only one person getting pulled, though, right? Can you still petal in the cage? What's the rule? So let's say cage goes down, but you already have petal. If you stand on the petal, do you still go up? Malga shoots for tree, you won't get life steal. Also true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree, but I think you could also be... Can you not... Because what's the distance you can cast? Like, how far can you place tree from where you are? Is it on the wiki? I could just go in game, right, and figure it out. What's the... It's like Maywall. Oh, so... Okay. That's okay, but that's what I mean, right? You could be outside the cage. Like, if the cage is here, you could be standing here as Lifeweaver. You could tree in the cage, and maybe, let's say, your Sigma's in it or something. So the tree helps your Sigma. You can either life pull out someone who gets in like more trouble, like if your hit scan or something gets caught in it, or your other support, something like that. Yeah. Don't know. Maybe I'm a bit of a life weaver stocks going up in my head. I feel like it's the sort of thing. The problem with life weaver is it doesn't work by default. You have to like do a lot of things to figure it out right. It's kind of like Symmetra. In the sense that it's really powerful, but you have to do a lot of problem solving and have a lot of like set plays and set positions probably where it's best, or certain ways you position in, against specific ults and all of this, you know? But I think the potential is really high for Life Weaver, honestly. When will Overwatch be played in the World Cup? The Esports World Cup is next week, starting Wednesday, so like a week tomorrow. What's going on here? Alright, so they've got underneath. So just about, can they survive for peel now? But Rock gets insane value. They still kill Rajaro though. No lamp.
All good though. Had the reset dash there, luckily. And now here comes the damage. If it could be a clean wipe here from Virtus Pro, it's exactly what they're after, or at least staggering on the payload as well. Because now they're going to be able to get a...
Yeah, if we use lamp for something else.
OT is the best Ents can hope for to finish this point.
They get rid of the animation for switching between heals and damage, you'll play Life Weaver. I'll let them know, Koza. What Western team has the best chance to win at Esports World Cup? It's probably the obvious answer, SSG or Toronto. I feel like this system probably benefits Toronto quite a lot, like the ban system that is. And I feel like actually Toronto are a very good team, even though they did not show it at all at the Dallas Major. You think Life Weaver can heal through Cage Wall 2? Oh, by like arcing it over the wall? Interesting. That's quite useful actually as well. I mean, also what's true, right? If there's a... Alright, so this is... We're now looking at this like this is like 2D Mario, right? So here's the cage. Here are your teammates in the cage having a bad time. But if you're the Life Weaver, could you not put a petal here? You stand here. This is what you mean, right? And then you can just like heal. You can just heal over here. You drop a fucking tree in here as well. Can't see? Fuck. Wait, has my pen just been off the entire time? Am I just a Drongo? Can you see now? Does it make more sense now? You haven't seen Pen the whole stream? Fuck. Fuck. I've not been drawing that much. I've been mainly just drawing to highlight stuff more than anything else. But yeah, this is what I mean. But you get... This is Life Weaver tree? Yeah. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I think there's actually a lot of counterplay, right? If you can not get caught.
Oh dearie me, Virtus Pro. They're going to take this map. The Gala show is what I'm calling it. We're going to the Gala. Virtus Pro.
Right. Fuck. Now surely nothing will go wrong from here.
A lot of people think it ends to just kind of walk away with.
So this is where it starts going wrong for Virtus Pro. You can't believe Fnatic flubbed this game. Because they're not just winning this as well, it feels like they're winning by quite a large margin as well. So they're winning by quite a large margin. And one thing I forgot as well, in my head, my recollection of this game was Ents were kind of losing, and then they went dive, and then Ents won, right? But actually, Ents played a bunch of dive on those first two maps and just fucking lost anyway. So That doesn't feel so great. We're going to start on Doomfist here as well. We're going to ward out Chase's block, actually. So Chase is going to have... He's going to get one shot. Oh, yeah. Virtus Pro are winning this game. 100%! 100% they're winning this game.
Punch somebody out of this shield so that Kai can pick them up, but...
Alright, but they just catch Kevster as well. I don't even really see how they catch Kevster.
So that Kai can pick them up,
but they catch him!
Pro keeps striking first.
Shockwave sitting on this high ground.
Alright, this is probably a good... If I go back a little bit.
That Kai can pick them up, but Virtus Pro keeps...
You know, we were asking about like how Virtus Pro's comp works. This is kind of a spacing you want, you know what I mean? Like, obviously they've dropped to, like... They've dropped to kill people here. But this kind of spacing, right, where you've got maybe your DPS... Like, Shockwave's holding an angle, but he's not playing a big flank or anything like this. Sauna's going to be peeking here, right? And Kaneo just becomes, like, the anchor position of I can see everything, you know? And Rajaro's going to actually try and play quite aggressive to get early damage and early poke. And Sauna will be doing... I guess he won't because he's on May. But if Sauna was on Tracer here, he'd be playing quite close to Rajaro's position. Maybe flanking through here or something.
Sitting on this high ground, just such an eagle-eye view. Speaking of birds. And it's hard to disrupt or like dislodge him. I mean, you can get up there if you're Chase, right? Sky can get up there, Master obviously can boop him, but actually entering this place has been really rough so far. Alright,
no ults. Chase is going to stage underneath again. Wall comes out kind of early. Wall doesn't really do all that much.
Alright, Chase trying to
they're backing it up.
Mega punch as well. It's been quite difficult. Normally you want to use the
giving a bit of space. You see again, Shockwave so interested in just stopping Chase getting close to him. Keeps his distant, forces him back, and it's Kaneo who gets the pick.
This is first point for sure for Virtus Pro. Don't mean to call it too early, but Kai's dead. And there you go. Just like that.
I mean, you stronger for them.
Yeah, very hard point to dive on. No, I mean that first point in particular is so like poke favored.
So hard. Even smaller flashpoint. Have fun. This May is about to go.
I feel like sort of keeps walling the backline, and it could just kind of block heals, but I feel like it's so quick for Akiri and Lucio to get around this. It doesn't do loads because Kai can also get around it as well. I don't know if in reality he'd maybe better be using his wall like more just after the Winston engage or something, and wall right behind the Winston. Maybe it's a little bit harder in this particular, like with holding this particular high ground. So they do give a boop, right?
This May is about to go so hard.
And Chase just gets absolutely beamed.
It's gonna go pretty crazy.
Alright, easy. Yeah, there's actually no way Virtus Pro lose this map. Let alone a series. Do you imagine? Am I watching my Faceit League games later today? No. No. I'm going to be off, I think, before they start. And a lot of them, all the ones involving any of the Esports World Cup teams are all rescheduled. So I don't think there's any particularly good games on today either, unfortunately. But I'll definitely do some of them again. But it'll probably be post Esports World Cup rather than this week.
And the BAP, you see where the BAP is currently. You can hold up on this high ground, which is really annoying to assail.
Oh, that's so tough.
Thanks, Shill me.
There, right? Like,
just in case anyone doesn't know where I am. Who I am. Shill me's got you covered. Alright, so again, it's just like, we're just walling for fun. Rock, reasonable. Bob comes out, they're going to keep trying to disengage. Boop is good. They try and turn on him. Yeah, and Rajaro just gets too close. They kind of... Maybe it's Sauna who's too close. Yeah, actually, this is all Sauna's fault. I was hoping there'd be a way to blame Sauna soon. This is actually all Sauna's fault. Because we're in control of point, we're going to cap. This is from Virtus Pro's POV, but we're in control. We're going to wall here for no reason. But actually, when they Kitsune rush here, what would be great is, one, block the fucking Fox with the wall. That's always just free fucking wall value into some of these more difficult comps to play main to. Just fucking wall the Kyriol. Or just wall to help the disengage. Just wall in front of Rajaro. Make it difficult for them to follow up a little bit. Because what happens is not only... Because Rajaro's kite is actually fine. Rajaro's played this well. Because when they Kitsune rush, if you are Virtus Pro, your job is get off that fucking road. Do not stand on the road. either walk backwards enough or walk to the side. Either is really fine. Obviously, his backline is at the I like the top of the map here, so walking back seems really reasonable in this occasion. And Rajaro is actually spaced far enough back, has gotten out with a bit of help from Gala's speed. But Sauna is one who gets fucking caught. So because Sauna's caught, they end up bobbing, which I don't hate, but probably isn't necessary. Well, they kind of need to try and save Sauna is the problem. So if we're going to try and save Sauna, you can see, again, like the rest of his team, they've dealt with this Winston jump. If Rajaro was still here and walking backwards, they just get out of the Kitsune rush. They break the bubble. They can put more pressure onto Chase. Maybe they're going to beat through, but then Gala can just match beat. You know, it's like it should be a really nice situation here for Virtus.pro. But because Rajaro comes forward to try and get value, to try and help Sauna's going to try and clutch with Mail as well. And oh, they're still going to beat through, but it's just a disaster, right? Just a disaster. Can we get a stream scrim for old time's sake? Yeah, there's no way. I even got asked by some of the SSG people, like not the team, the like management, if there was going to be any, but it's like nobody is going to stream the scrims before the Esports World Cup. So the biggest tournament of the year, right? Everyone is taking it very seriously, as they should. As they should.
Clean team fight, and Virtus.pro are going to lose what they need in these comps. A quick and clean team sufferments, a quick team wipe, and that's exactly what.
Saw the bubble come down. Rajaro gets.
Am I watching Face at League later? No. No. I'm just going to do this for till about what time are we on now? Man, I might not even go. Originally, I was going to go to 7. It depends how quickly we get through these games. But maybe till around 7, and then I'll do a dip. Go sort some food. Oh, chasing the monkey. Alright, so they come through top here. Chase's engage doesn't look great again. Again, like my question here is if I'm Chase, like why am I going right now? Or has he just started underneath? Has he just started underneath them? Does anyone see a monkey? Oh, okay. He's like here, so he just walked underneath him here. Okay.
Perfect execution there with that Winston. You saw the bubble come down. Rajaro gets split off in the rest.
Do we know the top prize money? Yeah, so first place gets 400k at the Esports World Cup. What's quite fun about the Esports World Cup, and I will be including this information in my YouTube preview video that will be coming out at some point at the end of this week. But what's really fun about the Esports World Cup, if you look at the prize money, is every time you go up a round, your money fucking doubles. You get out of groups, your money doubles. You win your next game, your money doubles. But what if I keep going? Well, yeah. If you win another game, your money fucking doubles. And then if you get to the final, your money fucking doubles. But what if I win the final? Fuck, you're it's like, it not just doubles, it's what, like 250%? Fuck. So yeah. You mean Loaded is getting 400k? It's not impossible. And actually, that's a lie, actually, sorry. It is impossible. Does the order typically take... normally it's quite a small cut, so it'll vary team to team and the agreed contracts and all of this. But I think most will probably be in like a 10 to 20% range. For how much the org takes as a cut. But obviously then it gets divided by players and staff, right? Again, depending on like the details of the contract. But I think for the most part, a lot of teams were signed to pretty reasonably generous contracts in terms of prize share that goes to the players and the actual staff. 10k divided by the 11 players on ends. Yeah, well, what a lot of big roster teams have. I don't know if I'm not quoting specifics here for any of the teams. I can tell you what we used to have on London, right? The way it worked on London, because obviously we would have like 8 players or something, right? At various times. What would happen if we went into a tournament? So let's say we played, I don't know, the mid-season madness or something, right? What would happen is there'd be like a threshold. For if you had to play over X% of the maps to qualify. And if you didn't play over X percentage, you didn't get a prize pool share, you know? So if you were just benched for whatever reason because of meta or whatever it might be, you wouldn't actually get a prize share out of a tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a similar kind of agreement on lots of these bigger roster teams. Because I think it just makes sense and it feels the fairest, right? To reward those who are actually playing. Yeah, what you said, Mila. There's a load of different ways you can do it and divvy it up, you know? You know, some might just do it in like you take the total number. Some have it like where it's a threshold one. You know, like if you play X percentage of the maps, you get qualification. Some might do it where it's like they just take the total prize pool that they won, they give the player their cut, and then they just divide it by maps played or something like that as well. There's like a few different ways you can do it, but the core concept is the same, that the players who play more should get a larger chunk of the reward, you know? Clear finally got the Diva meta. It's a good patch for Clear, no? Good patch for Clear. Don't know if it's enough to put Bleed over the top, but it probably actually makes their comp a bit more viable than it was. Take into account Chris owes you a $5, so you take it off for prize pool. Yeah. Yeah, you got to factor that into, of course. Of course. All right. So that previous fight was very avoidable. But yeah, this is the one where it's like Chase just gets forced out again. They find their guy. They force him out. They'll chase him with a flux. Easy one for Rajaro.
That's rough. Sky also taking a couple of headies there from Shockwave. This is rough for Virtus Pro. See if Kai can be the difference maker.
Alright, Kai overclocked from the flank. Just want to... They're going to beat as well, actually, so they should be relatively safe versus overclock. They deal with Sky on point. And this is actually the perfect example, because even in a fight where Kai overclocks and gets an immediate pick, we talk about like the dive going off it. Obviously, it's sort of fucked by Chase not being proper engaged and anything. But just look how easy it is for Rajaro to deal with Kai. You know what I mean? Like they shoot him back a little bit, and he's just shooting a shield for most of this. You know. I think it's really hard to play hit scan into some of these Sigma comps.
And way more powered. You also have the Kiriko from Sky. While Chase is gonna be inside.
All right, so Primal on this retake again. Tricky one. Don't go coast here. We're actually gonna swing with. Is it just Sauna? Oh, it's just Sauna and Shockwave, so it's not so bad. All right, can hide in a window versus this again, trying to poke out. Window to try and force point. It's a scary cross by Massa. It's actually just a dickhead moment from Shockwave, right? Afternoon, Mapinlo. Because we window to force point seems really reasonable. Let's start clearing point, putting pressure on it. No, they still have Prime when his ult's coming back here. We're going to window. We have High Noon soon as well. They just save the magnetic grenade, no? Just save it. We just throw like such a hopeful one as well. Imagine if this guy was getting hindered. I mean, he actually gets nothing with the Primal anyway because of a High Noon, so like, yeah, it works out. Just think I would rather have both. Or, because they do, I mean, it's a decent, the beat helps as well. They're going to beat afterwards, and then the final one gets this juggle was actually, well, I guess like point winning really from Chase. They Susie the pulse bomb. And now it's just a really hard choke to walk through without a Sigma. Alright, they have a chance. They have a chance. Alright, so onto the fountain point. No swaps here. I'm surprised we've not seen Rajaro go Ramatra or something as well. I feel like Ramatra can often be a little bit easier into the Winston version here. So they're going to jump. They're going to Kitsune Rush here, which it should be an easy enough one to disengage. Again, we just feel like, how many times has Rajaro managed to keep the entire game in front of him, you know? It's everything stays in front of him.
focusing him mainly.
Yeah, I think you're right, Unito. Yeah. The Gala's gonna get caught though. Where does Kai? Ugh. Just gonna walk the corner. Such a soft one to get, right? I mean, I guess Gala's like trying to mark the boot, but such a soft kill to get here for Kai. They do get the Flux punish onto Chase again, though. Conceded the flip, but now they can walk. Just need to deal with this Tracer as they walk. Shockwave is literally rolling them. That'll do it. Overclock from Kai. Just needs to get marked now. There we go. Poor Kai just staring at shields the entire time.
Just the perfect answer to hit those overclocks so early. You're going to be charging them up pretty fast because Kai's still doing a considerable amount of damage. But where are you actually going to get the picks if you don't have the opportunity to get past this?
Alright.
Pro, though, they've got the ultimate advantage by a landslide. When you take a look at the 4 ults that they have.
Oh! Sky with the execution.
Got the ultimate advantage by a landslide. When you take a look at the 4 ults that they have.
Masa amping it up. Oh, Sauna.
Yeah, they disengage to the low ground here.
Cancelled, actually. Sauna used their pulse and I didn't hear the explosion.
And a high noon.
Yeah, he's dead.
Any
Kills
boots?
the headshot, Laguna. High noon on the
Yeah, Gala wasn't looking for a boot, but I think it's because they maybe actually expected one of these, like, this to come in, so Gala wants to be ready to match the beat.
holding it down. But this sound
Oh, fuck. The entire beat gets bubbled.
high noon on the
Oh.
holding it down.
No, Aegis, this is from Face It playoffs. So if you've seen that, this is
Unfortunately, I don't
this is
think
that game.
he did.
Ah, fuck.
Didn't.
A bubble coming through, coming in.
Real disaster, right?
Holding it
It's
down.
got to be avoidable,
3 to
I think. Rajaro was anchoring point, high noon swing.
Shockwave still holding it down.
Yeah, do they still have lamp?
Sound barrier.
If they do still have lamp, fuck.
Unfortunately, I don't think it did. Less issue there from scurrying back to this.
Donna, you fight.
Alright, another retake, but this is a really tricky one now.
This is one fight away back to lose the flashpoint. And that is
Looking to go early.
knowing that Ents is
Again, they find, like, they've actually forced this primal in such an uncomfortable spot from Chase. Has to be really careful not to force this one.
in this flashpoint map.
Well, they're gonna take
Oh, Kai gets the pick, though.
Bombs waylay this time around. It's just eaten up for breakfast. Hence, they're pushing Virtus Pro all the
Can't
way
touch,
back.
right, can they?
One person
Oh, wait,
touches
Sauna
it,
can
but
touch.
the fight is almost already won. Sauna's gonna get chased down, triple blink.
Oh, didn't give a recall off.
Not sure this fight's winnable anyway. I mean, maybe.
It's actually such a shame. Sauna nearly plays this so well. Nearly plays it so well. Gets the touch. Gets one more touch for his team. And then just doesn't get the recall off in time.
Down triple blink. Can't hit the
Fuck.
recall, but no, not in time.
Because then Rajaro can just take over the touch forever. They're going to have Kitsune Rush, but we can Flux. You know, stuff can happen.
Not sure this fight's winnable anyway. I mean,
Bubble onto Rajaro.
maybe if Sauna survived there, it's winnable, but I mean, the rush from
Oh, they even turn onto Sky.
Sky might be
Fuck, like, imagine if Sorda was still just in this fight, you know what I mean? Like, putting pressure on fighting people.
Sky. Okay,
Fuck.
yeah, they had Suzu too, but Carla could mega clutch with the.
There's the lamp. Fuck.
I don't think so. All right, not anymore. Now, know what I mean.
The lead for map 5 bracket run. With Canale, without that amplification matrix, you don't have a great answer.
All right.
Now outside of this
Early
graphics.
Flux, again, just after the Winston shift. Kitsune Rush going to come out as well.
Suzu used on Chase again.
Where's Rajaro going? They're just ignoring him.
Just slam back down, receives so much damage. Shockwave finishes off with a single headshot. Kevs is still taking a.
They just going to go... They just get out of it. They try and go really aggressively here with Kitsune Rush. It's actually... I think it's actually Entz's fault, right? Like... you know, it's like... If I look at Virtus Pro's formation here, when it's like Sigma here and the backline is here, they're really well set up for this, right? Like, they would love if Entz go early. Backline's already halfway out, can start walking backwards, you know. So they kind of just... Virtus Pro kind of have a read of exactly what Entz wants to do, and I kind of set up pretty well for it. And then we use for Flux to try and counter the dive.
Matrix, you don't have a great answer to it right
What teams
now.
do I have left to watch? First Pro today, then I guess Peps, maybe Twisted Minds. I don't know how valuable Twisted Minds is going to be, because not only have they changed two of their players, but the two players kind of fundamentally also changes the type of comps, well, mostly TVN2, right, changes fundamentally the type of comps they're probably going to lean towards. So I don't know how valuable looking at Twisted Minds will be, really. So yeah, I don't know. So definitely Peps. Ents is also kind of tricky because they play so much with Chase lately, so... So I'm not sure what to do with like the Twisted Minds and Ents ones, but we'll definitely watch Peps. Or sorry, Gaming Gladiators now. Maybe we'll do a little bit of M80 as well.
Flux.
Well, there's the Flux. Suzy used on Chase again.
Only a few teams.
Once more. Just slam back down, receives so much damage. Shockwave finishes off with a single headshot. Kevs is still taking people with him. Can he get one more pick? No, Gale there with a save.
So if anything, I might cut down the number of streams just because it's quite a lot of streams. And I don't want to just stream for the sake of it, you know. Like if I think I've got something worth watching that I actually want to watch, I think it's worthwhile. But
they also have the high noon and the pulse bomb to maybe potentially pick something up. But
SSG or Falcons left? Yeah, SSG are left as well. Big raid. Thanks, mate. Lots of streams, lots of money. Potentially. Welcome. Welcome, everyone.
Potentially pick something up, but it still boils down to whether or not they can keep Rajara alive, and that's where Gala might be able to come in clutch with this sound.
Hey, Vish. Alright, what are we looking at? So Sora's just gapped the fuck out of Kevster as they go with this one. Beat in response. I actually hate this. I'm such a hater of beating versus overclock. Because what they've done is they've high nooned on point, right? Which means Kai's willingness to swing round this corner when he's got to swing into a Sig Shield and a Sig Matrix and a high noon. Really fucking low for Kai, right? They've just got the stalemate, so I don't know why they beat as well. Really don't agree with this. And now you can see they're kind of like, they're sort of really keen to push because of the beat to try and get value. And they do get the picks, sure, they do get the picks. It ends up being more expensive than it needs to be.
Still get one more you got the sound barrier advantage with Masa, and then you
all right, but they do have the beat coming back. The primal.
Primal rage coming online here for Chase, so you definitely have a.
Oh, this is actually just a vintage miscommunication. So I appreciate the early window here from Kaneo. I think it makes their touch really hard, and it actually ends up being maximum value. Because they do the classic, I have pressed my ultimate as my Winston has jumped backwards to reset his position. So this dive is not going to be very scary at all. Sauna will miss the pulse bomb. Oh, Kai shuts him down. But yeah. Do not give the beat value. And Shockwave's going to get 4. 3. 4. I'm going to make Sky walk it. Alright, 2-2. No way to blow this now. They don't actually have too many ults. They've got High Noon and Flux soon to deal with this primal. Whoa. Kanale's taken a bit of a scary route. They have to lamp early. Kanale under... I think he has no cooldowns now. Kanale surely dies here. Yeah, where were they? Oh, they just catch him out the choke, actually. Oh, yeah, it's just really risky to do this rotate here when they're already here, you know? As opposed to just taking the fight with like your Sigma here and your Bat Pluto here. Trying to poke them in this direction, then if they dive you, we get to walk backwards. You think beating against the overclock is fine if the overclock team can try and walk up with it? I don't know, maybe. There's so many ways to shut down like overclock like that. If they're not like, it's not like a never do it, right? If the Soden is just fucking in and has opportunities to get kills. But in a lot of time in these situations where teams start with overclock, it's so easy to disengage it. Especially when you're a Sigma team or something, right? And you have so many ways to control that hero before you even need an ultimate. I think it's so inefficient ult-wise. I mean, you just walk away from it. Just walk away from it half the time. Or like in that one, they want to hold their ground. They drop like a window or a high noon back. I think that's way more reasonable. Like these are the ults I'd much rather see in response to the overclock rather than the beat.
At least they've got the primal.
If you really think you can get a kill with the beat, I don't hate it, but I still don't think there's much more efficient ways to deal with it. Yeah, I think the problem for Virtus Pro is here, they rush trying to move from A to B. They want to rotate towards the point, but I think actually if they just stay here and they just play a kind of pokey fight with like this kind of formation, they get ready for the dive. If they primal in, they maybe build up some of these ults to do something with. Deal with that primal, deal with Kitsune Rush that comes. Because they rotate, it means Kaneo has to use, he shifts here, has to lamp here as well, uses all of the cooldowns. So now Chase has a pretty clean effort at this primal. Manages to get behind him as well. Ends up being an easy one.
And you're keep locking down a player like Rendition here for Eds to have to take. They got it back up though because Virtus Pro, they're going in loose speed.
All right. What happens here? They're gonna walk through here. Chase is gonna be cleared. Cool. Then they're gonna walk through here. Shockwave just swinging really aggressively, really early. Just fucking catches Kai. Heinen will be dropped to help force point. Chase in big trouble. They try and Kitsune rush onto that, but did not have the ability to deal with it. And all right, back in control of point. Gonna start with overclock. Is Gala gonna beat back? Let's see. All right, Flux using this time. Oh, he's gonna beat it. Fuck's sake. Yeah, I just really don't. Because I presume Rajaro's doing like his classic, like just try and punish the Winston jump with Flux. Can they get a kill with this beat then? Oh, they're gonna miss Pulse. And now Ents have traded Overclock for 3 ults. I mean, I know one of them's Pulse Bomb, right? But yeah, 3 ults. Spark is playing tank on Korean rank. Yeah, I've heard he's had a string of tank games. Now they beat in. They try and window to deal with the beat. Yeah, they kill Kaneo through. Lamp's bad as well, right? Kaneo's just too close now. Does he get booped, maybe? Oh yeah, but Winston's behind him. Maybe Kaneo could be a bit further back, but again, like the beat just gets him out of all of these problems, right? Now this last touch is really hard. Mauga Tracer Venture seems relatively reasonable into this. Sauna can't get the touch though. Rajaro can get the touch. Chaser's primal. Jumping into the background, and we're now with the primal rage. How do they deal with it? I mean, at least Chase can lock the jump. Testing Virtus Pro. Yeah, they kind of have to stay stuck to point, so Chase is going to get a free engage onto the backline here. Him and Kevster combine quite nicely. Primal to keep going. I mean, at least Chase can lock this one. And Kaneo and Sauna already dead. Yeah, it's just it's hard this one because they are forced to fight on point Virtus Pro. They can't really disengage, and they have to deal with a primal and a Kitsune rush afterwards. Securing that final point.
Again here for that stream hacked out. We just
the high ground away to the rest of his team because you cannot let that.
Where are we going? Kimbali. All right. Need some Nectra commentary going. She's been casting the whole thing. Open your ears, Shilmy. I skip over her. Oh, you mean between the game? No, we'll be here forever if we do between the games as well. Pole. No, we need to get through it all. We need to get through it all, or I'll never get dinner. Maybe we can do it later in the week when we have more time. I wasn't watching this fight though.
I'm trying to go in. I'm still in. Look for Trace. All one.
It's a slight mistiming, right? Kevster in early. Wait, we can hear the comms.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm in. I got Ross.
Is Chase just lying? Chase has just said, I'm in. But I feel like he might have gotten booped, you know? Because if I'm Kevster, I don't feel like my Winston's in right now.
I'm trying to go in. I'm still in.
We're just gaslighting Kev. That's okay, though.
He just randomly rocked me. He was not even aiming at me. This fucking idiot. Nice.
Really fucking hit.
I
Okay, go off, fight.
think he pressed it as he pressed shift, but he got booped. They still trade out alright in the end, so it's not the end of the world.
He still hit me with a skill. Good trades though. You saw Master just going to lock this point down, and they found a couple of trades. Now they're getting this payload up the hill.
Alright.
Good positioning here too.
Another good corner.
Try to just isolate out Rajaro.
Is Canelo on the high ground?
Ents can just kind of even jump into the back line if they want to invest.
Kai's got the wide swing here. Sauna's going to come in pressure.
Sauna, you don't want to test this.
They try and clear him. They force for recall. Force Sauna out.
They're not willing to sling a rail just yet. You
Don't deserve dinner?
back there.
I think I do. In my humble opinion, I 100% do.
Just stop burning alive. Gala too, getting
Alright, bubble off. This is one of the adaptations that I think Ents have made, right? Is way more of these bubble timings from Chase. Kill the Sigma focus rather than try and hit backline.
quickly.
So they're trying to turn on Rajaro a little bit more. So there's an emphasis here on Rajaro of just finding either
The little health pack there, just
situations where he can walk backwards out of bubble and then he can just regroup with his team and repush, or he can just find somewhere, like maybe this map is a good example, or this point rather is a good example, where maybe he could just go into this room and just sort of play his own life a little bit while the Winston's cleared. But they clear the bubble. They do have to lamp Rajaro in the end. Now the next dive is going to be with Kitsune Rush. I'm going to window actually to pocket Rajaro through this. Oh, fuck. Painful time to reload. Now they're going to beat. Need a kill quickly with it though. Massa's going to get a beat back. And they just get another go. And yeah, playing through the tank, starting to provide more openings here for Ents. So on Rajaro to adapt now. Gala's gone Brig as well.
Lands, hits 2, no beat from Masa, but there's no follow-up damage from Rajaro's Flux.
Yeah.
No beat from Masa, and Rajaro have to back for Rajaro available. Spots Masa trying to climb that high ground on the Lucio, and Rajaro have to back off now.
Yeah, surprised he didn't just go for the Winston here. Because I know the Winston has Primal, but then can just force Primal where he can't really do anything. Put a load of damage onto him as well. Seems really reasonable. Instead goes to his Flux around the corner. But because there's a Primal going on behind him, is anyone able to peek my Flux? No, not at all, really. So Rajaro kind of has to get this value on his own. Just obviously keep their team contained. So they still essentially trade Flux for Primal. So it's not the end of the world, but could have been better. We'll still get to hold this good corner though, so just got to be ready for the overclock. Yeah, they spot a time to peek aggressively. Oh, where does Kai go? Where is Kai? Jaros just got away with it. I trade for it though. Yeah, I guess they just don't really have any ults. They managed to kill the overclock immediately, which helps. But Rajaro's again, he's like aggressive for it, you know? So he just ends up in this position where he can't, it's so hard to get off a road. Like if you start at this, if this is the road and you start here, this kite path is fucked for you. Because you'll be on the road the entire time. It's hard because he kind of makes the play. But I still wonder if it's like, again, there's like more disengages here, and they try and play for one of these ults. I mean, it's a tough fight, right? It was a tough fight.
Kai going a little bit too far forward there, actually gets taken out by Rajaro, gives him a swift left hook, takes him out. He's traded by Kevster, and it is an overwhelming amount of ultimates, Rose. Like you said, really hard to win these fights, but they're still miraculously finding trades, but with the payload in his position, surely...
Oh, Sauna's got 2.
Don't win this fight.
Just live now if you're Gala and Sauna. Just live.
Anything is possible.
Stall it out for forever. Alright, nicely done.
A Russian OC and a pulse from Ents used that fight, Rose.
That's wild. And now they've got this rally as well from...
Again, you can see Rajaro doing the same thing.
From Ents used that fight, Rose.
Playing very aggressively, all of this damage. Everyone else kind of ready for the dive. We're expecting a beat push here, so they have the rally to match it. They probably worth dropping both of these for it, honestly.
That's wild. And now they've got this rally as well from...
Catch the rock. Kev's just his one shot as well, so this beat push is not coming in.
Kev's head to a shield bash. There's 2 minutes to go now. Ents struggling to... I mean, this is
We'll get forced all the way out too.
basically 5.
Yeah, with that, the Gravitic Flux, even the Bob, Virtus Pro, like they're coming up big right now. Ents are gonna have to work really hard.
Alright, so now Virtus Pro have almost all the ults to work with. Dive comes in. Bob to counter dive. But Bob ends up being quite bad because everyone walks past it. I think you can just Bob defensively here. Just Bob as just like here or something, right? So maybe you catch someone who's diving on you, but then the Bob's just shooting the entire time. They Bob, they rally, they Flux as well. Is it another whiff? Fuck! And Kevster hits for Pulse Bomb. Gala gets separated. So bad Bob, bad Flux.
Try to get out as many of these ultimates as possible. And as Kai said, the overclock is out in the pocket right now. They gotta force him out.
Rally, here's the Flux, has to hit, misses 3. Everybody just scattering there to the 4 wins.
Let's just call it.
Could have appeared maybe been better as well. Let's see.
As possible. And as Kai said, the overclock is out in the pocket right now. They gotta force him out.
Rally, here's the Flux, has to hit, misses 3. Everybody just scattering there.
Yeah, maybe actually.
And as Kai said, the overclock is out in
I mean, they...
the pocket right now. They gotta force him out.
Rally, here's the
I don't know if they headed super out to Lamp here. Again, maybe we could have been slightly greedy with Lamp, but this is a harder one to judge though. If you're Nail.
Scala and Shockwave eventually eliminated. Apparently, Rose, if you have more ults, you just lose fights.
Part of the reason it's so hard though is because Shockwave is pushing up for an aggressive Bob. I think they just miss... If they want to go early with Bob or something... Like, if you want to go...
Bro, look how many they have.
So regardless,
Like, if you want to go with Bob...
like they're coming up big right now.
Don't know when your timing is.
Work really hard.
Your timing's like now or something, right? Like just 3, 2, 1 around the corner, maybe even Bob. This is kind of what they did on Oasis, right? It was against the Malga, but same kind of idea. You just go hit them really fucking early because
Many of these ultimates as possible.
by the time they do actually go, like Chase is already ready to go around the corner, you know? Like they just miss their window.
Right now, they gotta force him out.
Rally, here's the Flux, has to hit, misses 3. Apparently, Rose.
It was and it adds not this third point. Have Rajaro on the
Alright, onto Ramatra now.
Okay, completely flipping things up here.
Oh. Again, Bubble onto the tank, forcing him out. They do get the window, and it just saved Rajaro's life, but it just ultimately mean a window for kind of nothing. So again, even with Ramatra, it feels like Ents are trying to do more to play through the Ram, or play through the tank. Now they want to dive in backline because they have support ult. They catch Gala. They'll just kill the backline. Rajaro gets a trade. Just need trades now from Rajaro and Sauna. One isn't bad, but it's not enough.
And there's no Arrow switching over to the field might be a way to just keep Virtus Pro alive versus something like the Pulse Bomb, but they've got to contest with this Kai overclock in this open.
Alright, they are back though. Guess the trade did help them enough.
Double DPS ult for Ents. This backline's going to look rather sorry for themselves if they get caught out by this. Rajaro already popping.
Form used, Pulse slightly too soon. Oh, they lamp as well. Didn't need to lamp. Like everything's fine. Now they overclock. And this is where they obviously would have liked to lamp. Does Rajaro just not quite have it? Fuck. Yeah, better lamp and Rajaro gets to Annihilation here.
I mean, the supports couldn't even peek. So Rajaro was just
Is this maybe a bit of Chris theory, right?
and with an annihilation to boot. There's still ults in the bank for Virtus Pro, but they can't quite get him. And that's a
One of Chris's theories on Virtus Pro is that actually in all the matches, aside from that very first upset they got against Ents, all of their matches when it gets to like kind of like crunch time, just seeing mistakes, you know, just mistakes not costing them. I'm just gonna get some more water. I'm back! What are we saying? Alright. Virtus Pro attack. They've given up a very big defense value. Alright, Bat Brig. Ash on the attack.
Yeah, I'm still going blind. I can go top. I can go top left.
Are they going to swing top left?
3, 2, 1.
Should be able to bully their way out here. Again, I kind of hate this. Like, I feel like Chase is just like too obvious a lot of the time. Like, because obviously you can just bubble on this choke and get a load of cleave and you kind of get some cleave and everything, right? Which maybe isn't the end of the world because they hard to engage. But I feel like sometimes the best thing to do against this type of comp, if you have a dive comp, is to give them a little bit of space. So there is a bit of so it's rather than just everyone. If a Sig, Bat, Brig, the classic SBB, are just standing on top of each other, really hard to truly just kill these people. But if there starts to be a little bit of separation between, you know, the Sig and the Bap and the Brig, suddenly you can do a little bit more of what Ents were having success with, you know, where you bubble behind the Sigma and you try and burn him and force him back a little bit. But because Chase is so obvious, he has to bubble quite early, and as such, he gets forced out straight away, and now Virtus Pro just have the entire map.
Go Chase on her. Behind, on ping. I'm fucked up in point.
Again, Bubble's used as a defensive tool, really, more for Chase than anything else.
Someone stay point. Stay point.
Do get half their support ops out of it, at least. Gala just switched off now. Wait, can we hear we actually can hear the comms on this. Yeah, I think that's Kaneo's voice, right? Did you hear that when he said, like, go main, go main? Because Kaneo's kite path is correct, but Gala is just, like, you know, lost in the sauce. You hear a lot of coaches, I think, like, when me and Chris have talked about this on, like, the Q&A and stuff before, we've said similar things of, like, Hunter as well, is that a lot of people aren't very good at talking in Overwatch. But there's quite a few people who are good at talking. But there's barely any people who are good at listening. And I think that's what can really separate a lot of players.
I can't.
How good was Chase as Orisa? Yeah, Chase had a pretty good Orisa back in the day. I thought Chase had one of the better Orisas, honestly.
That's already 3 kills in the fight. Virtus Pro pushing the payload.
I think Chase often does, like, even though his Winston and Doom are good, I think, but I think any of the tanks that kind of sit in, like, quite, like, I don't know, like, hard fragging tanks, like Orisa or like Ramatra, where you can be quite aggressive, I think normally suit Chase quite well. So I think he's looked good on Arista and good on Remarker as well.
So we will end up seeing that pick.
Not a bad answer to something like the Winston, even though sometimes we see...
Yeah, I agree, Olivero. I agree. I think his Sig is actually... Like, Chase is actually perfect to be a solo tank. It's just obvious, but obviously if Vess is on the roster, right, Vess is going to play. Gonna play Sigma.
Let's see if he can actually land this on anybody.
Shockwave closing in on that bomb. A lot of ults from Virtus Pro.
Alright, slow comes out. Not a good slow from Richaro. Tracers are duking it out on the side. Primal comes in. Again, trying to focus for tank, but Chase can't get him out. Richaro manages to jam himself into that corner. One more dive coming through. Look how aggressive it is. Kitsune Rush flip comes through. They bob and rally towards point, though. That's a lot of ults to push it over the line.
That rally's just so good. If it can survive, if you can just sit there and swing, like the amount of healing, the overhealth, etc., it's just too much, especially for someone like a Winston to burn through and do any meaningful damage.
Especially when you're playing around the card.
Yeah, I mean, just hard for the Kiri Lucio. Hard for the Kiri Lucio version of the comp when the Virtus Pro has like going just play like rally and bob and it's a cat fight, you know. All right, good overclock push here and a good beat, but I mean this should be absolutely curtains. It's nice from Ents.
To low two. Surely this is an easily won fight by Ents. They still end up losing Chase here, which kind of sucks. Tagala's shield bash. Kai's at 50 HP. Kev's is going to make sure Sauna doesn't kill his DPS counterpart.
Chris always talks about Ents' lack of aura when Chase is in. I kind of know what he means. I think a good example of this is actually when I was doing the player power rankings, I ranked Gala quite high, even on main support, even though I guess a lot of people will be quick to say Gala's not got the same level as Lucio as a lot of these primarily Lucio players. Which is fair, but I think the fact that Gala on Ilari can be such a hard carry position, it's so much value to have somebody like that. And I think that's what Vessler has as well, you know? When they have like the Vessler Ghost version and like Master as well, and they kind of just play like a pretty aggressive style, they've got the finished core. It feels like there's a certain vibe and confidence to it. Whereas while Chase is more well-rounded, I think you maybe do lose some of that high peak, you know? Like if you were to ask me what's more valuable to Ents, having someone who's like pretty good, like if this is like a graph of all their ability and they are like, let me draw it smaller. Let me draw it more like this. But this is like their ability on all heroes, right? And it's just kind of, you know, it's actually all pretty decent, right? Pretty decent across the board. But then you have another player who's got maybe like, there's some heroes that are just like this, some bars that are just fucking this. But then you've got this fucking bar here, right? And then maybe you've got like this like Ramatra or something, you know? Like, this peak wins you games. Right? Because you can suddenly, oh fuck, we play the Sig map. If we can play a map that's good for Sig and we can get a matchup that's favorable for Sig, we are winning fucking games, you know? And that's really a really useful thing to play off. Whereas sometimes if you have something like this graph on the left, what your real strength is probably actually like the swap game, right? In theory, is the swap game would be your advantage here, you know? So I think a lot of the time, actually just having these players with just crazy high peak on one hero or a handful of heroes can actually just be really viable, you know? Even if, in theory, a more balanced player is in theory better, right? Or more meta-proof for everything like this, you know? London is the right shot. Well, yeah. Well, but also exactly, right? Even though you could, I think, like, you say, like, we could play multiple versions of that type of comp. really we just had a very high specialization, and I mean, we got pretty far with it, no? Got pretty far with it. All things considered, how like some of that season started. But I think this is essentially what Chris means. I think when there's like when he says the chase version has no aura, is because the chase version is just kind of okay at everything, right? But you know what I mean? Like, does Chase want to play dive against the Korean teams? Not really. Does Chase want to play Ramatra against like teams like SSG? Or probably not really. You wish more teams to specialize? I think it's like it is the way to go. To have your own sort of I guess what they I guess in Korea they'd call it like your own color. But like your own style, your own kind of identity. And I think even though Crazy Raccoons do play a large variety of comps, they do actually have a very clear identity in their play style. Is there a main tank in EMEA that does want to take on Korea in dive though? If there is one, it would be Haddy. I still think they wouldn't opt for it. But I think there's certain maps, right? There's certain maps, like you would say maybe, I forget what the exact pool is, right? But like Dorado's in the pool, right? There's certain maps like, yeah, Ilios, Dorado, maybe even a bit of Runasap. How do you say it? Runasapi? Runasapi. I think I've got it. Which maybe feel like quite dive, especially like Dorado and Ilios, are so incredibly dive favored. Now they might just do it, even if it's like a, even if it's not a matchup they think they would win normally, just because it's everything else on the map type is so hard. You think Chase? I mean, I think Chase has a lot of potential. I think all of the mistakes I've seen from Chase here, like, I think a lot of them have been kind of Chase orientated, but I think the big difference between Chase and Haddy right now, even though I think hero pool wise, Chase and Haddy are pretty similar, right? Maybe Chase has a better Doom than Haddy, but Haddy has a better Ball. There's a bit of variation here, you know, and obviously Haddy has a much better Reinhardt. But other than that, they're all pretty good at all the same heroes. But I think the difference is, I mean, yeah, obviously what some people are saying, the difference is Haddy can go to LAN and Chase can't. But I think what is also true is if you want to be this type of tank on the left, and this is like what your hero pool is, your advantage is swapping around, right? Changing the matchup to play something that has like a inherent advantage or inherently more favorable matchup. But if you want to do that, what you need is good knowledge of how to play all the different comp matchups, right? You need quite a broad knowledge. And I feel like Chase doesn't have that. I feel like a lot of Chase's decision making, I think, and read of how to play the matchup lets him down, you know? Like, I think Ents have made improvements here, but I think it's also worth noting that it feels like Ent's improvements don't come mid-map. It feels like they come between maps, right? Which would imply it's maybe more of a coach input rather than a Chase solving it himself. Like, I was thinking this the other day, right? Because I think one thing... I'm going to get rid of these graphs. Hey, Andra. You know, we talked about this ban system on Uncoachable. And we talked obviously about how the fact that actually coaches can have a huge impact now, right? In terms of winning the ban, winning the draft, right? There's a much greater advantage. Or a much greater amount of control and influence coaches can have. But what I also thought is because there's so many variables now with the bans and what comps other teams are maybe cooking up to work around the bans, there's a huge variety in terms of once you load into that lobby, what comp you're going to run into from the other team, right? It's a lot harder to prepare specifics and prepare all of this, which actually shifts some of the balance from prep work from the coaches and preparing particular maps and particular setups into the player's ability to decide in the moment, right? Because, for example, the coach might prepare you, but with all the bans and stuff, maybe they just whip out a slightly different version or a slightly different playstyle, a new idea, right? So I think the players are going to have to solve a bunch of problems live that are going to be really unique. And also are not just going to be unique, but will only apply in that map. So it doesn't matter if your coach can help you afterwards, because they probably won't play that next map with different bans and different map and all of this. So I was thinking there's certain players, like, in many ways this might benefit a team like Twisted Minds, right? Because Twisted Minds are really, in terms of like how they think about the game, the comps they choose to play, the style they choose to play, it's really all UB, right? But the fact is that if you have the person making all your comp decisions, or your style, or your play call decisions in the actual lobby, able to speak the entire time, it might actually be a big advantage for a team like Twisted Minds, right? Obviously, you have to... UB then has a lot of stuff to do, right? A lot of problems to solve and all of this. But that might be much more useful than a team that might find themselves maybe more coach-related, right? Like, I know Goomba always used to say he thinks Falcons are actually... don't necessarily solve as many problems in the like mid-map. They solve them between maps, and he thinks it's more coach-led. So I don't know exactly how much that will influence, but it was just a thinking out loud from a thought I had the other day.
Virtus Pro, that shield just not going to save you, but we're seeing a pretty big switch up here. Jaws, it's going to be Rajaro on the Mauga. It's Shockwave going over to the Venture.
All right, Mauga, Venture, Tracer. Again, one of the presumed advantages Virtus Pro have by having a hit stand like Shockwave, that they have an Echo or a Venture or a Tracer, or a bit more variety in their hero pool and a lot of other hit scans.
Comp that we've seen just kind of run the tables here at some of these high stakes matches in the Esports World Cup qualifiers, but not a composition.
Right, so Virtus Pro have flipped the burger. And it's going to concede some of the space. Shockwave's going to make this aggressive move. Onto it. There's the slam over the top. And they got him. They got him. Alright, reasonable swap so far.
As long as you could play a little bit tricky around this Venture, then you can limit the amount of impact they can have.
Primal Pulse. Tectonic Shock coming up. Shockwave as well.
I mean, this is the classic, right? If you watch, this is obviously a lot of what Falcons were doing at the Esports World Cup as well, where Stalker would be the initiator. He would burrow first, and then this is actually a perfect example of it in many ways, right? Like, watch this from Ents. Imagine you're Ents's backline right now, right? And you're like, if you're Kai, you're saying, this Venture is burrowing, not me. Guys, care the Venture. Venture's going to engage. Venture's going to engage. Venture's going to engage. But what actually kills me is the Mauga I stopped looking at, because I get caught up looking for the Venture and thinking about this, you know? So that timing of letting the Venture be the initiator, I think, is super important. And I say that, but they actually do manage to survive, and they cleanse it and all of this, and they do get away with it. They get away with it despite in theory the theory and the initial execution good from Virtus Pro. Oh no, they've gone Coast versus Primal.
It takes a little bit of time to get underground. Uh-oh. Goodbye, Lucio. Wait a second.
He's back.
Gala lives those.
Oh, everyone's hugging the wall.
But the Tectonic Shock is going to clear the way for Virtus Pro, but unfortunately that bubble absorbed most of that damage as Kai and Chase clean house.
It's not the end of the world. They get 2 ults out going that way. Obviously, Virtus Pro will having to wait quite a while to get to this ult swing from the comp swap. They're holding aggressively here as well, and alright. Where's the Mauga? Yeah, Rajari's just under here already. Is he just not? I guess he's just not really realised where they're holding. Now Rajari's just out of a fight. And it's
combination of hitting the burrow, but Kai was able to
Really straightforward. Pretty straightforward one.
30
Ground where that card is rolled
Yeah,
to.
I mean, it's just silly things from Virtus Pro. Like, kind of just walking up and just not playing the fight, right? Just, like, going default.
That's gonna be so difficult.
Not live patch, no. This is from Face It Playoffs, so I think this is... I mean, it'll tell me. 4 weeks ago. Yeah, almost a month, actually. God damn. I think this was from week 1 of the playoffs, too.
burrow.
Oh!
Where Ents want to push the objective.
So everyone's got booped again. There's the cage. Burrow.
Sune rush out there. Pepper it in with the cage. You want a clean team fight win.
Burrow.
And look at where Ents want to push the.
Alright, trying to come up close this time.
Again.
There's for Cage, though. Cage should be a hard fight win. And you can see, actually, Ents are just going to accept their fate on that Cage and get one more recontest with Beat. But it's going to be Kitsune Rush Beat versus Kitsune Rush Beat, which should in theory favour Virtus Pro here. Looking like a play on it, but Mag will get so much value. Beat over the top. And yeah, there's the Tectonic Shock. Oh, doesn't even need it, actually. Just getting him. I feel like Dive's so bad on this third point. You think Venture is underrated as fuck? Yeah, agree midfielder. Agree midfielder. Good take. I think we were watching some of Stalker's PV yesterday. Unbelievable value Stalker was getting. Unbelievable. So good in the duel. So hard to deal with. Loads of weird things you can do that other heroes can't. Just when you can sort of like disengage underground, but you don't have to concede your position. You can actually stay. You can disengage underground, but you stay aggressive. You can stay in the aggressive position, so you can be ready for the next timing. Lots of really cool stuff, and you need to have like a pretty good read of how aggressive and not aggressive you can be in terms of when you can stay and when you can run and how you get into these aggressive positions. And also, I think the hardest thing about Venture is you have to win the duels, right? You have to take a lot of fights and you have to be able and willing to win them.
has managed to isolate Rajaro. There's going to be a good trade though as a pulse bomb connects with Sky. Enough time to tonic shot.
What happens here? So we're going to get Kitsune Rush in. Tectonic Shock back just makes it really hard to stand on that. They try and go forward with a bubble. Shockwave boop up is good though. We've actually seen Massa hit all these boop ups. There's going to be a good trade though as a pulse bomb connects with Sky. The payload is still moving as Rajaro manages to stay alive on the field. Kevster finds two in the fights. A team kill comes through from Virtus Pro, but they're still running into ults from Ents.
They have a final
I think Venture is underrated Shockwave dies, yeah. No, I agree midfielder, you're right. I think there's like a lot of unexplored territory with their kit and what they can do.
Primal Rage 2, they could just boop everybody off. Overtime's going to be commencing very soon. Virtus Pro, they've got this one shot. They've got to win this team fight. They want that esports World Cup spot.
And this fight will determine it, you imagine. Primal Rage.
Alright, they deal with this Primal in the back. Overclock going as well. Copy all the ults in the world coming. Virtus Pro are so close to everything.
5 seconds to go and someone's still
Gala is not going to be pressing this beat button right now. He's not going to get it. Ah! Fuck, dies on that. If he gets the beat off, then Kaneo and then the cage goes off, right? Like it's just like a chain. If Gala gets this off, then this goes off, then this goes off, then it's really fucking winnable, you know? Was this avoidable? Was it? Winston jumps in behind.
determine it, you imagine. Primal Rage from Chase. They got a dupe. They pretty much got everything. Saving it for this final fight. 5 seconds to go. And
It just kites a weird way, right? Where is Gala?
Saving it for this fight.
Oh, yeah, it just goes this way rather than back the same way everyone else goes.
5
Fuck.
seconds to go and someone still needs to touch.
Oh.
Gala is getting completely decimated by Chase's Primal.
Farah was a hard counter. Yeah, I think Farah and Echo still pretty decent into her. Oh, sorry, into them. But yeah, not quite as strong. Not quite as strong as before.
What was it? Where did it come from? Was it a player? Was it the coaching? Who gave you this? Like, what did you guys adjust to come back in the series and win so decisively?
Wait, was that it? Was that map 5? Did I miss a map? Am I some kind of high? We watched Saravasa. We didn't watch Esperanza at all, did we? We just skipped the middle map? Fuck. Guys, we're not locked in.
Tried this Malgacomp. They're locking into the dive right away.
Exactly what you wanted to see. We'll see if they can get it done. They need something to...
But even then, all things considered, Suravasa actually felt really hard to lose. Suravasa felt really hard to lose, and Shambali was in the balance, right? Shambali was pretty 50-50.
Start here. Gotta be careful of Kai's railgun, as always. Pretty easy to charge off that shield, even if you do get lesser charge for hitting a shield. Pretty easier to charge.
Alright, let's see this one. So obviously more dive versus the Sigma this time.
So does Kai. Now the slow struggle for this first pick.
Alright, Shockwave, Kai, who's gonna get it first?
Right, this time. So we actually see we see Rajaro run into this problem. This problem actually gets worse for Rajaro as the series goes on. Because here's an example where it feels like Ents are trying to bubble off the Sigma again. And this time Rajaro is close enough that he can just back out of the bubble, stand with his team, and now his team can clear the bubble and everyone can walk forward. Seems reasonable. But that is something Rajaro manages to do less successfully the more the series goes on.
A lot of big damage coming out from the Tracer. Alright, Kai taking off angle yet again, trying to find a headshot on the back line. Spots exactly where Shockwave is, but can't quite get an angle on it. Slowly but surely, and now the dive comes in.
Some kind of miscommunication, I think. Some kind of miscommunication.
Deal with the lamp as well, to be fair, but Chase is going to follow that up.
Chase is killed too, though.
Maybe even a third one.
Yeah, I mean, tradition is that the Winston will do the engage and then the Sojourn can swing, but I guess you can do it the other way around, right? Your Sojourn shifts in so that your Winston gets a free engage. I guess it's okay. Guess it's okay. Get traded out, though. Pulse bomb attempt misses. Chase will jump through. They can regroup, though. Still in control. They do Kitsune rush forward. I don't really see what happens. Don't really see what happens in the back here. Because Bob's going to go off now in response to this Kitsune rush, but we don't really see any of it.
Now Sauna, okay, he's actually just stealing the bot straight up. Hoping his team can win the 4v5. Well, I guess 5v5. Bob's there. Kevs is chilling. Dead in the spawn. So not quite chilling, I suppose. Alright, well, Kai's at least taking matters into his own hands on the Sojourn.
Was Chase's Winston overrated? I don't know if overrated. I think whenever I watch Chase play, I think it's much more his decision making that holds him back, or his understanding of what his job is, rather than his actual ability on the heroes. I mean, that's obviously, in many ways, that's a harder problem to solve. But I think, I mean, if I look at how he was playing at the start of the series to how he was playing at the end, it feels like he's listened to the advice that's come from, presumably from Crimzo, about how they want to change their target focus, and he's finding more value out of it.
Actually play aggressive with this overclock.
Well, he's in a good position to do so, to be fair, on this high ground. Hard for Virtus to get up there, of course, no dive tank. So they can actually find a headshot.
Alright, we want to swing top. Oh, Chase has taken so much damage.
So they can actually find a headshot. Still, you can rotate around here like...
Just kind of like small things like this, right, where he just ends up taking so much damage.
You can rotate around here like Virtus Pro are doing.
You know, when there was a timing to go here if they wanted on the dive, there was a timing to go... If you want to go here, then you just go here, right? Before you take all that damage. Or you deep-peek a little bit, try and avoid the damage and try and hit him on this timing. Both are really fine. Kind of does a bit of both. And now this Flux will surely kill him. Or at least forces the beat. Oh, yeah.
And he is just caught unawares there. Straight out into the open. Was hoping someone would swing so he could get a headshot, but it wasn't to be.
Their formation's a little bit fucked here now, Virtus Pro. They're kind of all over the place.
You've got a lot of room to work with. And end up losing control of that bot yet again.
Nail playing super careful not to trade. Help Kanail.
The rest of Virtus Pro, and the bot is still moving.
Help Kanail. Fuck.
push this through. Good.
Oh, they've been C9ing as well.
This point, and yeah, those stackers are huge. Ents can't come in and contest now as a full team of 5 because. Of
So even if they get those trades, they actually get punished for it.
Virtus Pro starting to amount a bit of a lead.
I really like the way they're playing. As soon as Sauna sees the fight swinging in their way and sees the bot alone, grabs the bot's hand, moves it to the checkpoint. Shockwave under a little bit.
Oh, what happened here? This explains exactly what happened here, right? We are holding forward. Our backline is not there. I mean, fuck. I don't know why I'm angry. This actually affects me in 0 ways.
Eventually, Sauna has been checked by Kevster, who is pushing that pot. There we go, Ents with a win. Still losing the checkpoint.
Was this the version of Sojourn, the one before her weapon was nerfed? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This was like 4 weeks ago, so I can't remember exactly because wasn't there another Sojourn? She's been changed twice, right? They keep tweaking her down mostly. So I don't know exactly what it was, but it's definitely not as bad as it is currently, or not as weak as it is currently. Whoa! How does Chase get a kill in this scenario? Because there's ones like this, right, where you just go, what's happened? Chase has dived, presumably by himself. Yeah, look, Kevster's on point. So these are the sort of dives that just has to be illegal for Chase to find this kind of value, you know? Right, just has to be illegal. I don't know exactly what goes on with appeal or whatever, you know? But Chase is just soloed for backline. And that one is too. Ironically, that's too easy for Ents. Alright. Alright, now they're gonna try and I also hate this touch before payload. Or before cap, rather. Like, this cap is so hard to hold. Just let it fucking go through unless you think you can win the fight. They get the beat out. They're all over. Gala's, like, trying to help the touch, though, so not really in a position to beat back. They'll kill everyone.
They will too. I think especially with just the player advantage that they have right now in Chase.
Yeah, I agree, Sanu. It is a shame.
Gives Masa the time to get this lead for Ents and just keep themselves in this series.
Right, now they're kind of just spawn camping. Wait, what are we fluxing? Gonna flux for jumping Winston? Oh no, we're just gonna flux nothing.
Goes wide. Still finds Chase though. Using that aerial view of the Sigma's ults. Wow, that is an aggressive rush coming through from Sky without a tank. It's going to respond. Canel's going to respond with a window. So I guess you trade 1-for-1 ults there, although I take the rush over the window any day of the week.
Yeah, but I think that just the answer to that is fine. When I don't think that Canel's always going to have a great usage for.
I think I'm really disappointed. Really disappointed if I'm Virtus Pro with lots of these fights. So we're gonna try and rotate underneath, which is a very hard one to do.
Always going to have a great usage for the amp matrix. Great usage for the. That is fine when I don't think that Canel.
I mean, to be fair, Virtus Pro's comp is, I think that's a very difficult. Oh, by the way, it's a very difficult map to play in this type of comp on if I'm Virtus Pro. I think the Remartra would probably make it slightly easier. Probably a Cass would make it slightly easier.
Start to get really tricky for Virtus Pro to try to grab this lead back.
There is huge meters on it. No ults either. Gala is gonna go Brig.
This Winston away.
And it's not going down without a fight. Pop Primal. Alright, yeah. A little bit more defensive countermeasures for the Tracer.
Wanted one more boop. Chase is going to commit it again.
Chase actually goes down to Alright, okay.
Not pretty. And it's just as well, actually, for Ents. It's just as well. Well, sorry, just as well for Virtus Pro, actually, because that could have been, like, fatal. It might also have been fatal regardless. Alright. Gala gets caught. They try to bob defensively. They trade 1-for-1. Sauna will be cleared off point. They're hunting down Sauna now. He's killed Kev, though. Fair play, Sauna. They do deal with it. Bit of a mistake from Gala.
The Kitsune rush from Sky, but it's going to be the sound barrier advantage here for Masa. So a lot of sustainability.
All right, soft winnable actually, but double support ult coming up.
To me, is just going to be Kai and Shockwave. What picks can they
Gonna start on the high ground.
The difference maker to me is
It's just like,
just gonna be Kai and Shockwave.
yeah, I think Kai's just in the window.
What picks can they get here when you know that these? Well, there it is. See,
the
what
perfect
picks? I guess it's just Kaneo.
Kaneo dead. Sauna 2. Minute to go. Okay, Ends. They can stack ults, Rose.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, they can. So they still have the right answers to the ultimates that are on Virtus Pro's side, but you with this overclock, you just have so much one-shot potential with these overclocks, as long as, again, you get that Sigma shield down. But it's coming down to the wire.
Just like goofy shit, isn't it? Goofy shit, really soft stuff to lose to. I think this actually moves Virtus Pro down in my head. They try and walk through in this choke as well. Now this is just like a hot take to push into this Kitsune rush.
Is there from Martha to save him, and that primal rage is gonna be dirty. I mean, I'm not sure you can do much of that window canal. Just seconds on a roll. So take us.
At least they do it.
Fuck. I don't know if we'll have time for another one actually. Because I'm doing like scrims and stuff as well. Where's my my fucking stream schedule? Channel. Where am I going? Oh, we're gonna get some Inception here. Schedule. There we go. So yeah, because of how my schedule is going to work these next few days, they're going to be quite short streams until the weekend, just because I'm at scrims in the morning. So yeah, so we'll probably actually be a little bit slow going, moving through stuff. So I think we'll call it there for the day, and then. And then just, yeah, we'll finish it off tomorrow. There's no great rush, right? No great rush. We've still got a lot of stuff to look through. Team-wise, where's my Dino list? So obviously I'm preparing a lot of the team previews and stuff. I still need a lot more to add. I've still got loads to do. But I feel like I have a read on this team, this team, this team, this team. This team I can't have a read on. And this team I'm not going to get a read on. Same with all of these. I'm not going to like watch their stuff back. Toronto we've done, right? VP we have half done. And then Ents and TM are actually really hard. I don't know if we're going to watch their games back, right? Just because of the roster changes and all of this. Obviously Nightmare also roster changes, so maybe not them either. Maybe not. M80 we can probably do a little. We might just do like one series. Gaming Gladiators we should do, and SSG we should do. Yeah, and we can do that over the course of 5 days easily. And then what I'm gonna do with all this stuff is I'm gonna take all of this stuff and I'm gonna put it into a big preview video that I'll hopefully release over the weekend. Previewing the entire Esports World Cup, all the key teams, some of their play styles, and what we very much expect from them. So I think actually that might do it for today. I guess there's always a question of, do my ranking shift at all based on this? Might actually move Kaneo down. What if I did both of these? Is that a hot take? Such an unprecedented. Maybe I don't. Do I hate Izzyaki that much? Yeah. Yeah. I'm still okay with this. Any interviews like OWCS? No interviews planned. I'm going to do the preview video instead, just because it's a little bit easier with how my schedule works, since everyone's in Korea and stuff. But what I'll do what I'll do is, because I'm going to be co-streaming from the Esports World Cup venue itself, I should have a load of opportunity to, one, get players on the co-stream, chat to them there, talk to them after the game, before their games, everything like this. And I'll maybe just do some interviews on my phone or something, just post them straight to Twitter, maybe some short ones too, just to try and bring you, I guess, like as much coverage from the event as possible. So yeah, no interviews beforehand, but we'll get them going. Get them going after, or well during the event, I should say. I've also been sent a tweet too. Let's see. You guys heard of this? The Bell Esports Challenge. You know what a sucker I am for Bell stuff. Has anyone actually signed up for this? I don't know if it's like maybe it's a bit more of a North American pilled one. $5,000? Fuck. Online qualifiers when? 20th, that's this weekend? This weekend and next weekend? No, this weekend and 2 weeks from now weekend. Like either side of the Esports World Cup. Yeah, so if you want, go sign up for this. But it's probably a decent fun tournament. Should we see who signed up already? Wait, can I see? Overview? Who signed up? 6 entrants? Wait, I want to see the team. I want to see the rosters. Ah, fuck. You could beat these guys. You could take these guys from there. You could take the money from these guys. Yeah, no, easy money off these people as well. Yeah, people should sign up to this. Obviously, I'm associated with Toronto, so I'm going to promote it. But it's actually winnable, right? It's actually, I think, really on if you want to win these. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these names. This is actually for the taking. If you could get a team together, I reckon you could take a decent chunk of this. Because honestly, the prize pool, I obviously I'm biased, right? Because it's a Toronto event. But actually seems pretty winnable for the amount of prize money on the line. Worth a pop, so if you do want it. Probably not paying travel expenses. Yeah, true, actually. I don't know if anyone watching is American or Canadian or maybe even plan to go to this. But I mean, I guess even if you come fourth, right, it might be the sort of thing that maybe pays for itself a little bit. But yeah, if you are Canadian, have a sign up. So much in on SSG? Just dating 2 orgs. Just dating 2 orgs. That's not a problem in a modern world. Alright, should we raid someone then? Who are we raiding? Seeker? KSA? Yeah, should we do KSA? Is this his first stream back? I think so. I think I'm going KSA because it's his first stream back, so it feels like a suitable thing to do, right? So I'll send you to KSA. The redemption arc. Might be a little bit in Arabic, but you're a smart bunch, so you'll be able to translate it. But thank you very much, everyone. I'll be here same start time tomorrow, and we'll look through a few more things. Finish our VP look through, and then maybe start on Maybe we just do a poll for it, but maybe start on Peps or start on, what should we call them? SSG. I remember them. But yeah, thank you everyone, and I'll see you same time tomorrow.